Hello and welcome to a new episode of the MinnMax Show, a place about games, friends, getting better. I'm Ben Hansen and I'm thanking you for being here. I'm not alone. I'm joined by Jeff Marchiafava.
That's me.
The Mad Dog. Don't be deceived by his friendly demeanor. Yeah, he howls at you when you're not looking. I'm joined by Leo Vader.
Hello. Did me putting my hand on my face draw attention to me and make you pick me next?
Probably. Kyle Hilliard's here too.
Nice.
Hey, I was trying to remember any of the weird banana words we learned this morning.
What do you mean? Tear off, chunk jump, ploppy, grumpy, void Kong?
Banandium gems?
Banandium, that was the one I wanted. Banandium.
I guess Banandium gems mean nothing to you, Kyle Hilliard. That's what we're learning today.
Not yet. I haven't collected one.
This generation.
Haley McLean is also here. Welcome, Haley.
I'm a hungy wungy gamer.
Revived again thanks to the SGF Travelog now on YouTube. We've got a lot on this here episode of the podcast. We're talking about The Altars, a game that Leo's, I know, red hot on. Haley, I don't know her temperature, but I'm scared to touch the door handle if you catch what I'm putting down. And then we were talking about FBC Firebreak, Squeakross to a T, Rune Factory, talking a little bit overall thoughts on Switch 2, but then of course kicking it off with Donkey Kong Bananza, the game that Nintendo graced us with a full Nintendo Direct devoted to the glory of the big Bananza. And then of course, back half of the show, we have some wonderful questions submitted over there on Patreon. Kyle, as somebody who I think in every like pull down menu on every site and every form, you always check to see if you can list Donkey Kong Country instead of USA.
It's not that I want to claim that I'm from there. I don't want to lie. I just want to know that it exists.
Yeah.
Right? I just want it to be proven to me.
And it is absolutely a place that really does exist.
Huge.
What did you think about the Donkey Kong Bananza Big Direct overall? How's it changing your perspective on the next big Switch 2 game?
It made me more excited for it. A game that I was already very excited for. The Pauline reveal was fun, but it was a little tiny bit leaked earlier. But I like her integration. I like her there. I like seeing a young Pauline. That's fun. And I also, this is like a weird thought that I had, but I didn't really say while we were doing our reaction stream or anything. But I like the idea of just going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the core of the world.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, something about it is like creepy almost.
For real.
You're gonna go by all the unborn children. Yeah, it is funny just to think of like the layers of what they have to hook you, where it's like even out of the gate, it's like super expressive, great looking redesigned Donkey Kong in. Then, Red Faction style destruction of the environment in. And then the layer of, okay, we're also going to the journey to the center of the earth, and you will be granted one wish when you get there. And inside, just like the real journey to the center of the earth, there's a bunch of weird biomes and different creatures and wacky stuff. And it looks like you're actually outside again, like, okay, in. And then on top of that, what a good bait and switch from Nintendo here, where they said, there's a little purple guy called Odd Rock, and he rides around on your shoulder. And he was in the previous trailers. There's a whole Nintendo Treehouse segment that was devoted to like the cutscene where you get Odd Rock. And I need to go back and look at that again, because the way they were talking about it is like, I know Odd Rock's your companion throughout the game, yada, yada, yada. And then They lied. Well, Nintendo Korea leaked a version of the box art that had Pauline in it, which is funny how they could get those files mixed up months ago.
Yeah.
So people were a little skeptical. And then this big direct just kicks off with like something that we're all just excited to see of like, oh, Pauline's here. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, she just like hatched out of a purple rock. So like this is the origin for this huge Nintendo character. She's like born from
I know.
rock.
I'm sure she got like mistakenly wrapped up and tossed in the hole, and that's why she's stuck there or something. I don't think she's born of rock.
So she was just stuck inside of Odd Rock? Like she busts out of it like a Togepi. Like it's, or I guess.
Yeah.
It also has like a tape on it that says like void or something, like it's like a package. It's very strange.
Well, there is, of course.
I think it was a rock delivery and she got mixed up in the rocks.
Yeah, because Void Kong is the big bad in here, along with his dear friends Poppy and Grumpy. This game is throwing us for a loop on several different fronts. Leo, maybe as a Nintendo skeptic, a friendly Nintendo skeptic, is this doing anything for you? Everything they're showing in the big direct?
The core gimmick resonates with me for sure, the digging around. And we saw more in this trailer, the like animal transformations that has seemingly become core to, I mean, I guess it always has been with Mario turning into Tanuki Mario. Yeah. But it's like interesting that they're going for that with Donkey Kong too. So I don't know. I hope the digging is deep, no pun intended. And I'm interested to see if there's any destruction outside of just terraforming the dirt and stuff. I don't think we really saw it with buildings in the Red Faction comparison you brought up.
Yeah, I guess it's like, are we going to encounter an entire city towards the center of the earth or something like that? But even in this one, they were showing like cooler stuff that I hadn't seen yet. Of like, okay, they'd shown some rocks you can't dig through, all that fun stuff. But this time it's like, okay, there's actually like soft rocks that you can throw, and you can kind of like stick them together and make like these huge kind of pillars and bridges. Like, okay, that is more interesting now. Destruction.
It's like that ray gun, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, can you just, you're going to need to build it in some wacky ways to get to areas to find some collectibles that you couldn't find normally or something.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I definitely want to try it, and I'm really curious how I'll like it, because it is so Mario Odyssey flavored. That's more clear than ever from this trailer, I feel like, but it also does have those like immersive, more creative elements, more in the Prey or Tears of the Kingdom direction. So I'm curious if it leans enough towards the latter that it grabs me.
Yeah. Kyle, I feel like we both had a little extra where they showed the puzzle challenge courses. Where like when I got to play this game at the Switch 2 preview event, it's like, okay, you descended to this one level, or like little offshoots. It's like, okay, take down these 3 enemies, that type of thing. But when they started showing like, oh, they might even be closer to like shrines from Zelda or something. They're just kind of like one-offs, little experiments. That seems really cool, just encountered throughout this entire 3D thing.
I mean, since it's revealed, there's been a lot of Zelda coding in it. Like just the way the trailer was structured, and like it felt like very Breath of the Wild, like the opening was just showing like landscapes with like soft music and stuff like that. And then the way he climbs walls, and then I couldn't help but recall, I can't remember the ability because it's been a while now, but Link being able to go through ceilings and stuff like that in Tears of the Kingdom. It feels like
recall.
Ceiling go.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's like, I don't know, just there's some of that flavor in there, right? They're taking lessons from Zelda, I think, even if it's not an open world necessarily.
Yeah, just kind of player expression and everything, I guess, kind of ripping that in. And like the big thing is we still don't know who's developing this game, which after a big direct fully focused on this game is egregious that they're still keeping that as secretive as they are. It's like, it seems clearer and clearer that it has some connection to the Tokyo team, to the Mario Odyssey team. Like I think the smart money is it is a smaller team that is kind of split off, or a smaller percentage of that team, perhaps, that studio is now working on probably the next big 3D Mario game and this at the same time. And I'm curious to see like what that staff is going to be like and who the actual director of this thing is, I
mean, it doesn't feel like a small project anymore.
Yeah.
Because that was the feedback that you and Janet had that surprised me, where you were kind of like, yeah, I mean, from what we played, which obviously isn't the whole thing, it just felt like kind of a unique idea spread out into a full like a launch game. I think the point of reference you guys used was like the original Luigi's Mansion.
Totally. But
this makes this, at least the implication here was that there's like a lot more to this game. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like feeding into the marketing or something.
Oh yeah, you're definitely a monster. No, I think you're right. I think seeing the scope of this thing, like seeing the different Bananza transformations where you can turn into a zebra, you can turn into an ostrich. You can't turn into a rhinoceros. Rambi is out there hanging out around with Cranky Kong, which is confusing. But you can turn into those things, but then also just like seeing you have different unlockable costumes and like a skill tree. It feels like not exactly a revolution.
That was a lot.
Yeah, but suddenly it's just like, okay, like my scope for what this game is expanding a little bit. I still don't think it is going to be seen as like this is on the level of a Mario Odyssey. Not even in quality, but in terms of scope. I don't think it's going to be there. I think it's going to be a really cool game that it probably is north of a Luigi's Mansion in terms of reception, but I still think it's in that arena more than this is top tier 3D Nintendo going all out,
What's missing from what you've seen of this that makes it feel like it's not quite Odyssey level?
It's a good question.
'Cause I feel the same way, but I can't pin why I feel that way.
God, am I just biased against Donkey Kong as a gentleman? It's a good question.
As a gentleman.
Yeah, what would they have to show? It's like they have a ton of new moves. The environments look varied. Yeah, maybe I should eat crow. I don't know.
This game looks different than anything I've ever seen Nintendo make, and that has me super excited. I didn't bother watching this until 10 minutes ago because I thought, what could they possibly do with Donkey Kong that would make me, like I played the original Donkey Kong Countries, and that was fine. But like, it's not a franchise that I've had any interest in for years. And like everything about this looks super cool.
Yeah.
And it looks different. It looks like a different type of gameplay than I would expect from Nintendo. And that's Apparently, that is what they needed to do with Donkey Kong, in my opinion.
The weird thing is them leaning so much into Pauline as a character. Like, there's a part of me, there are like 2 lines in the trailer and the direct where I was like, uh-oh, is she going to be annoying? But if they can...
giving a little annoying.
But if they can hit that note of it's just like a foil for Donkey Kong, some weird personality, and the fact that like they open and close this direct with like big, huge musical numbers of her singing, like it just feels like a Disney musical, and it kind of is charming in a way I didn't expect to have her singing like, you know, a version of the Donkey Kong arcade intro song, but with lyrics. Like, okay, this is truly an extension of, you know, Jump Up Superstar, but like that mentality spread throughout an entire game, not on the retro front as much.
I still listen to that on YouTube regularly. Like, I love that moment in Odyssey sticks out as one of my favorite game moments of all time, 100%. So if there's just like tastes of that in this.
Yeah.
I'm also such a Pauline stan. Some people are like, too much Pauline. Sarah and I got in a big fight about it. She's anti-Pauline and I'm pro-Pauline.
Yeah, I know.
I know, that's what I said. She's really into Rosalina. I don't know why the 2 girls can't just
I was going to say,
typical
things. Come on, Sarah.
I have a theory.
But
maybe it's because Rosalina looks like Sarah, and Sarah's really into people who look like her in general. I'm
why does that have to come to Pauline's deficit? Pauline's
I know. It's
fabulous.
a fair question. It's a fair question. I went through the history of Pauline today again because I'm like, what was her trajectory after the original Donkey Kong? And I forgot that she was in the Mario versus Donkey Kong games on like 3DS and DS and stuff. Yeah. There's like a weird kind of busty version of her that's in there.
It's kind of become a weird debate online that like about the lore of Donkey Kong now, which is like Nintendo cares
the original game.
Yeah, like Nintendo cares so little about lore. There is no lore to Donkey Kong, really.
Even with it being young Donkey Kong and young Pauline, and you're seeing those old levels in 3D, you don't think that's going to have any story implications? Just going to be like a bonus stage set in the cute old level?
Yeah, no, there's not going to be any like, but it does make me think like if they were going for that, like what does this say about the relationship between Donkey Kong and Pauline in the original game? Like was Jumpman the villain all along? Is he the one trying to separate these 2 people that grew up together?
I don't think
evil Pac-Man.
Yeah. I don't think Pauline was happy up at the top of that tower. She wasn't. She was
like 5 pixels. Who could know what she was feeling?
Well, I think she like gave a little heart or something. I think when you get up there, right? When Mario gets up there.
That to Donkey Kong this whole time.
That's I don't think I'll bend over that backwards.
That would be so funny if they just pulled like a Metal Gear and just like, you know, we're gonna answer questions from the NES game that you didn't even know you had. like that's.
Well, it is like okay, if this is just the big prequel, which it gets confusing. Of course, because Cranky Kong is in this and young Pauline is as well, but I believe it's apparently posted 2 different ways where in Donkey Kong Country in the manual it's explained that I think it's like that's his grandfather, you know?
Well, the implication is that Cranky is the original Donkey
Cranky
Kong,
is the original.
right?
That's right. So Donkey Kong is the grandson of Cranky Kong, but then in Donkey Kong 64 it says son. And then
then in the movie it's his
son. Right. But then it's like, okay, but then if young Pauline's here in Cranky Kong, they must be throwing out that part of it entirely, the Cranky.
Yeah, no, they're throwing all that out. They don't care about any of that.
No, Kyle, just a minute. Couldn't Cranky Kong have been old for like a long time?
Yeah, but he can't be his grandfather and his father unless something really gross happened in the timeline at some point.
Oh no, Leo, hang on. Maybe this is the tree you're barking up. So maybe the idea is in the arcade game that is still Cranky Kong, but just with the resolution you can't see that it's actually the old Kong, and that's why he's like angry because he's like,
shaved.
Yeah, and he's like, Pauline's spending too much time with my beloved son. I can't raise him right. He's bringing her down the wrong path. And he's racist.
He's racist.
That's it.
He wants Donkey Kong to settle down with another gorilla.
That's right.
Nintendo's going there.
What if that's Cranky's bit in Bananza? Is he's just racist, and Donkey Kong is just like, I don't know. He's of his time. I don't know what to do.
It's relatable as a 30-something-year-old person.
I can't get him off Facebook.
Yeah.
I wonder if, or maybe it's something like if they get to the core of the earth and they get their one wish, Donkey Kong just like jumps in. You know, Pauline wants to save the earth, they get rid of this Void company or whatever, something like that.
I think she just wants to get back to the surface.
Yeah. But like, what if Donkey Kong jumps in? He's like, what if your one wish is
make Pauline a gorilla?
I was going a different direction. I was going like make me hate Pauline no one must know of our secret adventures. It's kind of like a Obi-Wan Star Wars series of like, it's confusing that he's with Leia the entire time. Like, how do we justify this? But there has to be some justification for then why he's kidnapping her.
And I hope they watched Obi-Wan and were like, yeah, we need to take stuff from this because this was great.
Weird things. They have co-op, classic Nintendo 3D co-op.
Cappy co-op.
Cappy co-op.
Cappy
exactly.
co-op. That's the term.
Leo, you said they should have another. Well, I guess that's the term Cappy co-op, but there's like should be like a version of this where it's like co-op, half co-op, right? It's like
Little
1.5
co-op.
players or something, you know?
Yeah. Well, back for the old heads, you know, with Galaxy and stuff, it was called girlfriend mode, but then the internet exploded. Like, fuck you, girlfriend mode. So Cappy co-op sounds much more gentle, I think, overall. But the weird thing that I didn't understand, I didn't know this was possible, is that you can play co-op with somebody with the original Switch, like Switch 1. You can like stream the game with the game share thing to the Switch 1.
And we think that runs like ass on purpose.
I don't know. It looked like it was like smaller on the screen. So I am curious if it's like, if they can stream, you know, Control and Resident Evil 7 or whatever to Switch 1, like if it's just like streaming, then maybe it would be chunky depending on your internet signal, but it's an interesting way to...
The chat functionality works. If you stream it to a Switch 1, can you voice chat to someone with a Switch 2 if they're the one streaming it to you?
Well, it's only local,
probably not,
right? It's meant to be played like sitting next to somebody.
You can do it through game...
It's not online.
Through game chat. You can share it that way too on Switch 2.
But then even
game share is a local like system. Like game share is for two Switches near each other. The game share is not online.
Yeah. Okay. And Leo, you're popping for the weird 3D stuff, the DK Artist as they called it, an evolution of Mario Artist, which I thought was going to be packed into Switch 2. It turns out this is where it comes through, is included in Donkey Kong Bonanza. They have like a 3D sculpting thing, which looks cool.
That's totally. I was just happy to see that as like, this is a cool thing to put in kids' hands by accident. They don't have to go out their way. They'll just find this in their Donkey Kong game, and it'll be probably their first 3D modeler they've had.
Right.
And that could be an interesting like doorway for kids. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. And if only there was a Miiverse to share it or something. Like I worry it's just get kind of siloed in there and stuff. But I bet there's going to be a lot of really awesome creations if you're cruising around the Donkey Kong Bonanza subreddit. Like I bet people are going to be sculpting some really cool stuff. Like apparently they had a reference to like a sound bird from the DSi or something in the direct. Like they already were sculpting some deep cuts in there. Do you remember this kind of like a sound test bird or something?
This sounds somewhat familiar.
Okay.
On DSi?
Yeah.
DSi is like a weirdly interesting system that had some bizarre games on it. like camera games. There was like a WarioWare camera game. There was also like a game that simulated stereoscopic 3D before the 3DS because it would like use the camera and it would like shift the perspective as you rotate it. There's like a lot of weird DSi exclusives. Yeah.
There's also, I learned from this other game called Welcome Tour that also with that, there was like, you use the camera to calculate how similar two people's faces looked. So it could tell who was related. It would give like a percentage similarity between faces with the DSi. Or
it's like that Dragon Ball Fusion game. You remember that, Ben?
Where
you could like take a picture of two people and you could fuse them Dragon Ball style.
Good camera work.
Awful, terrible.
But Donkey Kong comes out July 17th. This is going to be the next big thing next month, so we can dive in a bigger way. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Let's learn who's directing this thing. Let's learn who this development team is. But it's sweet. They're hitting all the notes. They had, the minecart stuff in those challenge levels and stuff like that.
Yeah, they had 2D stuff, which it was dumb that I like popped for it so much that I was like, oh yeah, 2D. This looks like Donkey Kong Country now.
Finally. Kyle, how you enjoying your Switch 2 overall? We haven't really talked about it on the podcast with you yet.
Yeah, I like it. I think it is a good, if sort of safe and not surprising system. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like Nintendo's safest bet. But I like it a lot. I can say that I'm playing Death Stranding.
On Switch 2?
No, not on Switch 2. I'm playing it. So I haven't been playing my Switch 2 very much since, like, finishing the Game Informer review and playing Welcome Tour. And I played a lot of Mario Kart World. But, like, I like it on, like, a basic level of, like, okay, I've been really growing exhausted with the Switch 1.
Yeah.
But this feels better and games run better and Cyberpunk looks pretty solid and like I'm quite happy with it. Like I'm almost disappointed that it's not more creative and new and unique.
Totally.
But it's like getting a good, like, I don't know, like a good new phone, but it's like familiar at the same time. But overall happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still happy with like the hardware, with the feel. I'm excited to have it. I did send myself into a tizzy the other day where I was just thinking about like, I'm enjoying it. Still way less exciting than playing Wii U at launch. You know?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree. Like it's not unique. It's not exciting.
Yeah.
Like the UI even looks the same. But like, yeah, I remember the first time I played the Wii and like taking the Wii U out of the box and playing those, you know, even in the Nintendo Land games and stuff where it's like, this feels different. And like, I like the mouse stuff. I think that's cool and I think it works well, but it's a familiar, not particularly creative new interface for even a, you know, console, really, you know?
Yeah.
Where did you land on Welcome Tour for those who didn't read your review?
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Look, nobody's perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah. What's your login, by the way, to Game Informer's site, just so I can go change some numbers around real quick? If you just want to tell me your password, I'd appreciate that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll DM it to you. Yeah. I will say, not to like open the Welcome Tour can of worms. You guys had a wonderful discussion about it that I loved listening to. I do think it justifies its price. Like, I think there's a lot there, and it's really well made because Nintendo is just good at making these kind of things. But ultimately, it's just not fun. It's just like it's playing a tutorial.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and it's just like, I mean, it sounds dismissive to say it's like a lot of reading, but it's like a lot of marginally interesting reading.
Here's my Welcome Tour defense. I've just about 100% of this thing at this point. I've really been enjoying Welcome Tour.
I mean, it is a Ben-ass game for Bens, for sure.
Here's the thing that got me. It's been a roller coaster, right? Of like, well, we were laughing when we were playing the mini games during the stream. I get that. It's the last time we played it. But the more time I spend with this thing, a couple things out of the gate. Obviously, Welcome Tour should have been free and a pack-in game. It is so designed for that. Like the Japanese name for it is Switch 2 Secrets Exhibition. I feel like, yeah, maybe if they would have called it that and charged $10 for it, it would have been better. Because the Welcome Tour just feels like this absolutely should have been baked into the hardware, right?
Yeah.
You will not be welcomed.
Yes, pay for the welcoming, please. So that obviously should go in there. Number 2, it's not really that fun of a game, to be very clear. But number 3, I really enjoy it, and I think it is a cool thing. And what I eventually came to is why I'm appreciating Welcome Tour so much is that it's so different, and it feels like it's made with love. And it's made with love from an area of the game industry that I have never seen before, which is love from hardware designers. From industrial designers, you know? And it's so unique to have someone, you can feel the passion coming through in the blurs of like, oh my God, you guys, you would not believe how hard it was to actually wire this up. And then we had to put this over here because of this. But like, just, it is a glorified, interactive, you know, GDC talk on the engineering of the hardware. And it's like, hell yeah, I want some weird experiences like that in the game industry. I could not be more on board for this existing. And like, yeah, the mini games, they aren't as fun as even Mario Party minigames. I get that. Get the minigames out of there. I totally understand that idea. I'm not defending those. Like, those are actually great games.
I actually like the tech demos.
Yes.
Which, you know, weren't having you chase high scores. I thought were more interesting because it kind of was like showing you little magic tricks of the Switch.
Right.
You know?
Right. Little engineering tests that are like interesting, I guess, as you move through it. But more so, it's just here's a bunch of things with how modern consoles are designed that I have never considered before. And that combined with like, you know, the Nintendo Museum aspect of going through the history to talk about the history of the DSi, the history of the cameras, history of like, oh, here's a racing wheel from Mario Kart. You know, here's the full history of Nintendo using wheels. We had a racing game going back to 1966, and we had Racing 112 that released in 1978. Like, it is just a cool little interactive museum, and I want more strange experiences like this.
Did they get my history of blowing in games in there?
No, but they were so close to it, Leo. Like your old video.
It feels really relevant.
Yeah, they should have at least had like, I don't know, some sort of embed. It's the least they could do, I think. But that is it. It's just people, not even people, monsters in this company and beyond online rallying against Welcome Tour. It's like, of all the things to hate, like this is not a $10 Mario gotcha where it's like, hey, put in $2 and Mario will dance around. It's a cash grab in that front. Like, I genuinely think it's made with a place of love, and there should be room in this industry for focusing on this type of thing.
People hate on this because of the game. I think they hate on it because of the vibe it creates around Nintendo's current business style.
Yeah.
I think that's why it attracts like lightning rods of
It's a symbol.
And also it sucks. It sucks that all of that great information is gated behind having to do like all this stupid crap that you have to go get dozens of medals in crappy mini games in order to get to the next part, which is like the worst like sin of game design, to like force you through stuff that you don't want to do to get to the parts that you do want to do.
Okay, you're gonna tell me you don't like going around collecting those stamps and scouring every pixel on the Nintendo
look
Switch
for
Pro Controller?
invisible places and click on every fucking button that's the same on both Joy-Cons. Like, I like the trivia stuff. I love their passion that's coming through, even though it's like
you like trivia
you can say the same thing about a Ford commercial has so much passion for their car that they're trying to
if
sell.
you're bringing up Ford commercials, sir, we've got a problem.
Yeah, I like learning about hardware too. They presented it in the worst fucking format that they possibly could have.
Oh, please.
This is a classic negotiation or debate tactic where Jeffem tries to get you to write down swear time codes during your back and forth so that you have less time to form an argument. Typical.
Yeah, I get it. It's frustrating to go around and collect the stamps, but it's like, I get the idea if they want to gate it, in some way, so it's not just, all right, sprint through, and then you get bored immediately.
When you go to the museum, do they say, no, you can't look at the Van Goghs yet. You got to go look at every other stupid painting, and then we're going to quiz you on them, so you have to make sure that you're paying attention to the, like, you just let, if people are inspired to learn about this stuff, just let them go around to the parts that they actually find interesting and learn about it. You don't have to gate, like, the only reason they had to gate it was because they charge you $10 for it.
That could be.
So now they have to force you to spend fucking time doing the fucking stuff you don't want to do.
Design a game. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yes, like, just let people play with the tech demos and let people learn about the stuff that they want to learn about, and not turn it into this like forced tour and quiz thing that just
quizzes are forced. Let the record show no quizzes are forced, sir. You can run right through that. Those are all optional.
But stamps are forced.
Stamps are forced down your throat.
Stamps are forced, and getting medals is forced.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. But you can get from the mini games as well. But no, I got to the point of like I ordered like the camera for the Switch too, and when it arrived, my first thought was like, oh, this is kind of like a Toys to Life for Welcome Tour. I get to like plug it in now. I can play that dopey camera game that's available in there. Hey, look, man, I'm not some Nintendo apologist. I want to be very clear. I'm the one who killed Mario Wonder single-handedly for our 210s. I just think this is a cool thing that gets way too much crap, and a lot of it is because of the idiotic decision to charge $10 for it.
Malcolm in the Backstage Pass chat says, Ben cuss back at Jeffem, fight back. It's not how it works. Ben still has to write down the time code. Jeffem doesn't write down the time code.
He'd just be distracting himself.
Can I just give Hanson a compliment real quick? Please. I think you catch a lot of crap for defending stuff that everybody else hates. Yeah. And I think it makes the podcast so much better. And it brought out that Randon Jeffem that he wouldn't have been driven to make otherwise. So I hope commenters consider how much it elevates the conversation for you to have a different point of view like that.
I was expecting
I will not be helping you like I did for Rebirth, though, with this one at the end of the year.
Okay. All right. Hey, look, I'm not going to push this thing hard for the 210s. It's going to be a passing. I think that game is cool. We
have talked about it more than Rebirth at this point.
I don't think, like, I guess...
People feel passionately about it, good or bad.
Hang on, I'm gonna write this down.
I really just think it's a lightning rod for Nintendo proper. I don't think it's really comes out of the game too much, except for Jeffem's valid museum comparison critiques, which are so valid. I never thought about it that way.
And people in the Backstage Pass are like, oh, did you... And they're saying this with love. They're saying, did I order a 4K 120 hertz TV as well so I could play through those?
Yeah, that was insane.
That is insane. There is the option, if you talk to the NPCs, which you should because they're so well written and fun, one of them, it gives you like, hey, by the way, here's a little Morse code thing. You go up and you press this and you can skip that, or you'll get to play that game if you don't have a 4K TV. Yeah, it's hidden. I mean, you talk to somebody. It's not like a secret wacky
to the
cheat code.
faceless, voidless NPCs that all
They're kind of fun.
That
I
have
kind of
no
like
personality.
them. I like talking to them. I have a good time with those
From
guys.
the company that's known for like personalities and interesting characters.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a ending that people were talking up that you wanted to get to, Ben. Have you gone to that?
I think what they were talking about specifically is like it does get more interesting when you get into like the guts of the system. Of like, let's actually see how the circuit board is laid out and stuff like that. I don't think it's like a revelatory, oh my God, this goes so much deeper than you think. But it's like, I think instead of, hey, here's the A button. Let's share our fun facts with the A button. Once you get into like designing like the Pro controller and stuff, like, we want it to be seamless so no grit gets in here. Or like, here's how we had to actually lay out the circuits in this thing. It's like, okay, this is a aspect of the game industry that I haven't really thought about before.
It kind of undeniably does. If you go through all the quizzes, it does make you appreciate all the little details about it.
Yes.
Like I picked up the Pro controller a day or two ago, and after having played PlayStation and Xbox, I was like, you know what? It is nice that they don't have the seams on the side. And I wouldn't have ever thought about that if I hadn't played Welcome Tour.
Right. And one of the feet on the Switch, it's slippery so that it doesn't tip over as easily. You would never think about that level of design, But
then you can just tip it over.
You can still knock it over, I guess. You have like a bowling ball or some like superhuman strength. But yeah, I mean, all that defending Welcome Tour, I do think I'm pretty cool on the Switch 2 in general. Like I think it's a good piece of hardware, but I had that moment of, I was setting it up and wife's like, oh, what's new with the Switch 2? And it was really like and it's a bad sign for her. It's just like, the mouse? She's like, oh, weird. Okay. Like that's what I have. Like it feels better. It looks better. It's it's a bummer.
I'm cool on it too. I'm very excited to play it and Mario Kart World's fantastic. Game changer party game now. I'm going to be playing that literally every week for the foreseeable future. I'm excited for that. But I'm coming at it almost like I feel like Nintendo needs to. I'm coming at this almost at a negative because of how annoyed I've been with Nintendo's like bullying in the game industry lately from a legal side. I really don't like how they do business the last 5 years in particular. They really annoy me. So if they're going to come on the other end and go, here's our entertainment product, and it's like filled with technological protection measures, like you can't use any SD card, you have to use our SD card, Mario's on it. I'm like, stop it. Like I just don't like all those things are kind of piling up to not having fun with it because I'm thinking about how annoyed I am at Nintendo proper. Do you know what I mean? And like even when I say that's enough, I'm having fun with my new console. What am I doing? Like the first night I had it, I played. My partner worked nights, so he played some Mario World with me. Then he went to work, and I got in bed with my new console, and I genuinely had nothing I wanted to play on it, and that was insane. It was the first night with it. And I was just like, oh, this does not feel good. And I just have never really shaken that feeling since. I could have done more free roam. No,
I do want to play Survival Kids. I do want to check it out.
But like, I hung it up and played my Steam Deck for the rest of the night, and and I didn't want to do that. I felt bad. I felt like guilty that I had a Switch 2 and I wasn't playing it that night. And like, that's me being self-aware of those facts and stuff too. Like someone who isn't, and it's just like, here's my new thing. Oh, nothing else to play besides free roam since my friends and wife and kids are busy. It's like,
and it's like Deltarune, I think, is like the answer, but it's like, well, if you're not into the episodic stuff and you've already played Cyberpunk, you've already played It Takes Two, like it. Yeah, I get it. It's slim.
Yeah.
It is interesting that Nintendo kind of did itself a disservice by the original Switch being so popular that it like made all these other companies want to get back into handhelds, and now the Steam Deck exists, and that has like also taken a lot of thunder out of it for me. Like I probably would have been much more impressed and much more excited about it if I wasn't already playing a handheld that's, comparable in like power and size and pretty screen, but I have all of my PC games on it.
Right.
But like that said, I am probably maybe the hottest on it right now.
Oh, cool.
I have been warming up on it because I have just been playing more stuff, and it really is like get the launch date. Like part of this is also we're all fools who got it on day one in the first place when we knew that the only game on it was Mario Kart World, and like what were we expecting for having exciting launch with a lot of like first party, like we're gonna have to wait for the drip feed of Nintendo titles. But like I've been playing a couple more games on it. I've had a great time with my kid who's playing Mario Kart, which has also like painted and made me much
I got to
more
think
in
about
love
the
with
kids.
the Switch
Yeah,
2.
this is for the kid. That's
Yeah,
the
but
other part. It's like,
And
They're
so
getting
like
pissed at the Eula.
they are. Yeah.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, have them sign it for you, but that doesn't work anymore. But like, so I've been playing some of it, you know, in the evenings and been having some good, you know, it's just like it is a solid alternative to the Steam Deck when my wife is playing the Steam Deck and I can.
Yeah, I've been playing like Yakuza 0, which is one I've never played, but so it feels like a new game to me, you know.
That's fun.
Yeah,
that is fun.
And I mean the Zeldas are like, you guys know how much I love Zelda. Like it really is like amazing to play those games at a higher frame rate. Like I was shocked at how much I was like almost upset that I had already played those games.
I'm with you. Yeah, I booted up Tears of the Kingdom, and it's like, oh, okay. I know there's a lot of stuff happening in the game just right now, but like this could have been a whole cycle of hype if they would have, you know, charged $70 for it completely separately. I know that those upgrades are financially really confusing in of themselves, but like that is a huge deal.
It's like $20 to upgrade it or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Just do that. Yeah.
But like
10.
It is, but then for
Canadian.
others, it's like different for depending on the game. It's some are coming
And
with
Pokemon, you know, you just pop it in there and it works. Scarlet and Violet, and that was another moment where I was like, do I need to like? I probably put like 10 hours into Scarlet, and I was like, this is fine, but it's just like it's.
Scarlet looks a lot better.
Yeah,
and because you can't transfer your save either, like without like paying for Pokemon Home or something like that. I don't know how that works.
Mine went right over.
Really?
And I don't have Pokemon Home. Yeah, I was playing the DLC and had all my Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Because like there was Rebecca Valentine was complaining about how her save didn't come over because it's like Animal Crossing and Pokemon do not transfer over the cloud.
Am I a lucky ducky or something?
Or maybe you did maybe memory card or something? Huh. I'm that's great. No, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I wish
I'm like wondering if
over.
I hope I don't like log in next time and it's like a glitch and it's all gone now. Is what I'm hoping doesn't happen.
Missing number.
There must be some way to do it that I just missed or something, you know.
Yeah.
I played the first like I don't know 10, 15 minutes and I was kind of like, should I play this thing again? Like maybe I actually beat it this time.
I think with the Switch 2 overall, like there's the news story that, you know, in the 4 days following its launch, it sold 3.5 million units worldwide, becoming the fastest selling Nintendo game system ever. But I think it's still coasting on just the wild success of the Switch. Like I
also think that's because there's more humans every year.
That's gotta be. Every record's getting broken every time anything comes out.
Not the Xbox
because they have the hardware available.
They made them, yes.
Yeah, like they could have sold that many Wiis, you know, but like they couldn't manufacture them fast.
That's interesting. You know? That could be. Yeah, I think like lifetime, I predict the Switch 2 is going to be like 50% of the sales for Switch 1, which would still put it at 75 million, which is where the 3DS is at. It's like, yeah, that feels about right. Like I don't think on the streets there's much hype for this thing. Like I was going to show it to my nephews and it's like, they'll be okay on Mario Kart. And then outside of that, maybe they'll watch like a Let's Play of Donkey Kong, but I don't think that's exactly going to get them hyped.
My daughter like really doesn't care, like violently doesn't care, well, which I don't know what that says about her generation.
Your daughter's
like,
just cool.
I had to like it for Father's Day. I was like, you have to play Mario Kart with me, and that's what it took.
You know how much of a dream that is. That my dad on Father's Day would say, "Haley, can play a game." I had to go to a golf course. Stop.
Oh yeah.
Love my dad, but I hate golf courses.
Hang on here, a Mario golf course?
No, not even.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Real
I'm
one.
so sorry.
Real one where you
play
can't wear
golf?
jeans.
Oh,
no.
The way you're
I
phrasing it is, I went to a golf course. You're not saying I went and played golf. You're saying I went to a golf course.
That was on purpose.
That was a compromise. She looked up for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Kyle, do you want the most damning review for Switch 2? And the hype level out there?
Are you going to quote my review or something? Is that what's about to happen?
Yeah, get ready, because this is going to be controversial. No, I was just looking it up because he was on, I think Nate Bildorf, right, was on Jimmy Fallon, showing off the Switch 2. Like,
the default human?
Really? That's right, yeah. It has, and of course this is as scientific as it comes, it has 109,000 views. The big showing off of the Switch 2 on Jimmy Fallon on YouTube, right? The Switch 1 is at 7 million views. And obviously, maybe that's Jimmy Fallon popularity. Maybe that's millions and millions of people.
This is such a weird way to
just because I'm just trying to get a gauge of like the level of hype out there. I think no one's turning their head to look at Switch 2.
You guys, Jojo Siwa made a tweet about the Switch 2, and no one reposted it. Not even Miley Cyrus.
If Jimmy Fallon isn't science, I don't know what is.
Heat about Brie Larson's YouTube channel. Apparently, she had Switch 2 on, and people are excited about that.
Oh, really? I missed that. That's something that's huge. Absolutely.
That counteracts the Jimmy Fallon discrepancy.
100%.
Also, I'm guessing Miyamoto was on Fallon for the Switch 1, right? Doing his like thumbs up thing.
So you think like him in the thumbnail?
We barely know who Nate Bildorf is.
I fully don't.
Oh, you know, it was Reggie, if that matters, back in 2016. Okay.
Yeah, that matters.
Love that man.
And I guess, you know,
they should have had Doug Bowser, because Fallon would have really been fascinated by the fact that his name is Bowser. Like, that would have been the whole thing.
Bowser! It would have been awesome TV.
Look at your hair.
Hey, you know what my favorite type of hair is, Jeffem?
I don't want to answer.
Angel hair pasta, because I like to eat, and when I want to eat, I need it nice, simple, and clean, everybody. You know how you like to eat food, but you're looking sometimes for just like the easiest possible food that still tastes good? I guess the easiest possible food is like you shove Cheerios in your mouth as you're sprinting down a hallway, but what is like a tasty version of something that's easy and good? And that answer, ladies and gentlemen, drumroll please.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
It's Honey Nut Cheerios.
Can we get sponsored by Honey Nut Cheerios?
God, I would love to talk about Honey Nut Cheerios. Almost as much as I'd love to talk about Factor Meals, everybody. These are delivered right to your house, and they are microwavable little meals. 2 minutes, you can have truly delicious food. And they want you to know that, hey, summer is here. Don't forget it. So spend more time outdoors, spend more time enjoying family, the sun. Jeff, I'm catching the rays, getting the tan, soak up the sun. And you can do that with Factor Meals. 2 minutes. They arrive fresh and ready to eat. They got 45 weekly menu options for you to choose from. You can enjoy the summer more. Get started at factormeals.com/MinnMax50off and use code MinnMax50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code MinnMax50off at factormeals.com/MinnMax50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Leo?
There's been a lot of confusion that it adds 50% to the price, so we've got 50 off as the new code.
Yeah, it is 50 off. That's factormeals.com/MinnMax50off. Give yourself the option in your fridge at all times of super, super easy lunches. Factor Meals is designed for that, and I really do enjoy them. So check out that link in the description if you want to. All right, the altars. I was thinking back on the altars. This is from 11-bit, who made Frostpunk and this War of Mine. They're known for their super depressing but interesting systems-focused games. That's the genre. That's the milieu they're working in.
Really tough choices.
Yes. And
food go to Charlie problems here. Some tough thinkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your base is just one big trolley in the altars. But I was thinking of like what a good debut it had. Like the first time we all saw this thing, the fact that they showed gameplay and we see like, okay, interesting sci-fi premise, but we're diving into systems out of the gate. We're going to be XCOM style, building out this base and then cloning yourself to navigate the different tasks. But it was like, it was a good hook immediately. And I'm so happy to hear that Leo and Haley in particular are loving the hell out of this thing. Or how would you phrase your love affair currently with the altars?
Yeah, I teased it a bit ago as my new #1 for the year so far that I've been playing.
I also loved it. It was very, very fun. I have some complaints with it, but overall, like, just so unique, so cool. Kept me on my toes. I couldn't guess how the gameplay was going to go at any given time because of just what a weird mismatch of stuff it is. I couldn't predict how it was going to end. Like, it was just so fun.
So you finished it.
You guys have both finished it?
I haven't yet.
Okay. I'm almost on my second playthrough of it.
What?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is it?
I want to see all the altar stuff.
Oh, okay. Because you have a different playthrough every time is a beat they were hitting, right? Depending on like who you're actually making.
Yeah, there's a couple that are required. They're built in that you can't even progress through Act 2 until these 2 altars are made, sort of thing.
See, Jeff, that's called gating. It's basic game design. It's welcome tours, the altars. It's all the same thing. So I don't know why we knock one praise the other.
Jeff, can you not interrupt me? Sorry. Anyways, so a couple of them are really specific, and then a bunch of them are optional. And you know, I went through mine. Oh, there's just so many good anecdotes. Me and Leo have been sending messages just like, what'd you do when blank did this? Like, he did that for you. For me, he did this. Like, there's just so many great opportunities for anecdotes in this type of game, which is such a Leo thing.
For sure. And with the replayability, it's like we assume this thing happened to each other, but the scenes are generated based on the alters you have. They have specific beefs with each other, like issues that you have to resolve between them based on their different personalities. And that's also fascinating and does not feel procedural at all. It feels like it may as well be linear for how like well that stuff all ties in with each other.
Whoa, that's amazing. So, I mean, you two talking to each other and comparing notes, it is a feeling of like, whoa, this has a lot more breadth and possibility than we thought even.
Yeah, like shocked, like, oh, this just happened to me way late in the game. That was the first thing that happened to me when I got that person and that kind of stuff. And her assuming I knew something that I had no idea what she was talking about.
That's
but
fun.
I spoiled something for Leo. He's like, that didn't happen to me. I was like, how has it not happened for you yet? It's just like, because the way I set things up was just different.
Yeah, but the game is just so strong. Like, it's got all these different elements, and it is rare that they all work so well on their own merits. And it's not like I'm ignoring the story because I like the gameplay. I'm ignoring, you know, whatever combination of things I happen to like within a game. This is like, the alter stuff is so interesting because it's rooted in this timeline that is your character, Jan. You look at the milestones of your life from birth and these decision points where you like did or didn't stay to help your mom when she was sick, did or didn't get this scholarship to college, these little breakout points on this totally normal life that is like very relatable. You end up getting more and more branching paths where this alter is if you didn't get the scholarship and that motivated you to work harder, then you went down this path and you become the scientist. And all of them kind of have a little different voice, which is just like something funny to do with the concept, maybe not totally literal that they would start speaking so differently, but they all have such different personalities and are so recognizable despite all being this one person. And it is so cool to have that be so interesting. These conversations of between the person who stood up to his dad and the person who didn't, their different ways of looking at the world and their values on top of this management sim that is so delightfully punishing in the same way that Frostpunk and this war of mine is. Legitimately, I'm playing on the harder difficulties and I might have to change because it's making me too scared to like continue with it because the stakes are so high.
It's really hard.
It's so hard, but fun. And the like all the that science exploration of the planets, the way you're probing and drilling, it is a lot of decisions based on spending your time wisely and delegating what your alters are doing wisely. And it all is also just fun and cool to explore.
Yeah, that's my biggest surprise is just even in the opening of like this game could really be made or broken by the on-ramp. And it is smooth as butter so far, at least, for kind of easing you into the systems of this game and having little like pop-up video tutorials to make sure you fully understand everything that's going on. Like, okay, use this tool like this, use this tool like this.
God, I think what I love about this is the most care is definitely, as good as the systems are, there's a lot of care in the writing for the alters that like you think, so like every time an alter gets woken up, you think it'd be the same conversation of like, whoa, slow down, buddy. I know I look just like you, but calm down. Like it would just be that 5 more times. But like, because the alters are so different in personality and they take the time to like make it really feel like that way. Like the technician feels so different from Jan, even though they barely look different. You know what I mean? But I see the technician, like that's a technician. Like you just like know it's him. And so like each alter wakes up in such a different way that's so not tropey or annoying or whatever. Like for example, when the scientist wakes up, he's like, oh my God, fascinating. Like he doesn't freak out because he's like interested in the science of it. And because he's been a part of this project in his timeline working on the science. So he's like, oh my God, rupidium got found. No way. So that means, wow. And he's like thinking of the science of how he thinks being a part of that, like, and being made via rupidium, that he doesn't freak out that much. And then when you bring in, like, there's like a botanist guy or something, for example, he's like, oh my God, like, he's just, because he just knows nothing about science, he just likes plants. So he like freaks out and you have to be like, okay, wait, calm down. That all those different things always hit so different and are so fun. And the decisions are so hard. I legitimately would stop and just like think forever on some of them. And some of the moral thoughts that they throw at you, like at one time I was really donking up, like I was wasting my time, things weren't getting done quick enough. They have these optional quests where like the doctor wants 5 really good meals to make a feast for everybody to improve morale, and I like didn't do it in time, so that pissed him off. And then the miner has something really effed up that happens that was my fault, that he also was pissed off, and everyone was mad at me. And then they had like almost like a intervention where they were like, just because you're the first one doesn't mean that you'd necessarily be the best leader. And I was like, you got me there.
That's so good.
That's kind of true. And then I failed because they kicked me out of the ship because I was bad at my job. So I had to go back.
Over for that?
Yeah, I had to go
awesome.
back and refix. Another time, one alter got so pissed off he killed me and everyone in the ship, and then killed himself. And it was like, you failed because everyone's morale was just absolutely trash because I was focusing too much on just like min-maxing all the items and getting all the items. I hate saying min-max because Ben always says the word tongue thing.
I know.
One end. And she said, and she could have avoided all that by playing beer pong with the guy who killed everybody. To get his mood
I could
up.
have just hung out with the miner a bit more, but he was so mad that I almost was kind of scared of him. And he does something really messed up that I don't want to bring up, but like I gasped when I woke up one morning with what he did. Wow. And then I just had to like keep doing what I was doing. And I was like, this is so weird.
But
and
there
then
are also
like,
some
3 days later, he killed everyone. I was like, whoop.
This is, of course, painting a very specific picture. I want to say it also has such amazing light moments. It is also so funny. Like, really great writing in that direction, too. A definite best moment contender of a light moment between all the altars near the end of Act 1. It's really delightful. The movies, too, you find movies amongst other collectibles, like leftover of Jan's stuff he packed scattered across the planet.
Right.
And you can watch them with the crew. And it seems to be like a real YouTube channel, Chris and Jack, whatever they commissioned or bought some of their movies. But it's refreshing after like Revenge of the Savage Planet and things like that, where I sit down to watch a movie and I'm like, it's like a 5-minute short and it's like actually funny and well made. And it's like thought provoking.
Wow.
And then when you watch those, everyone's
good,
gloom goes down. Like after you watch the movie, all the altars are happier. So it's like good to watch the movies too, which is fun.
The fact that even that granular of a little thing that games so rarely get right, like is worthwhile and fun in this is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm only like day 8 in it, and it is such a tense game, and you guys are scaring me a little that it's just because I haven't really had any like big hard decisions yet, but it's just like I'm afraid just not to go to bed too late because then I'm going to be tired the next day, and they keep telling me like everything you do is going to be
time is the most
way
important
slower.
Thing.
It is like it hits that like classic Stardew Valley like vibe of like, do I have enough time for this? Can I like mine one more thing and then run home and get to bed fast enough so that I don't get that penalty? Should I be like, they told me at one point, should I be hanging out with people in that tired zone?
Yeah, you should
That's
be talking
mainly
to everybody.
what it's for.
Yeah.
When you have to do like make meals or workshop stuff in that zone or beyond, you can stay up till like 4 a.m. working on stuff. That's like out of desperation. But once it hits a certain time, it gets irradiated out on the planet's surface. So you come back inside, and mostly that's for spending time hanging out and moderating the morale of everybody. I will say my biggest ding against it was my one loss so far, which was not getting things together to make the journey. You're kind of escaping the sun rising over this planet that's going to burn you up. And you have to accomplish certain things at the end of each act to get the ship moving again, which is so cool. This giant wheel with your grid-based layout that you're moving the rooms to optimize how to get around, and then you actually walk around and deal with that layout. That's also so slick looking and well designed. I was like, I know I have to stay up all night to get ready for the move here, or else we're all dead. And I have to do all these things. And you can put people in crunch hours where they're overworking, and that's 12-hour shifts. That's the max they can do, which is very ethical. But I was like, the sun's going to burn us up in 4 hours, guys. Just don't go to sleep right now. And I'm there trying to do everything by myself, and we just get...
But if you do that too much, they refuse to work and only work 4 hours a day. They'll wake up and they'll go, I'll work only 4 hours if you crunch them too much. So I was crunching too early, and then they were like, screw you, you suck. And then they all refused to work, and I was like, damn it, I couldn't get anything done.
But that's what it most broke my immersion, was like, so you're going to die then instead. I don't think it would be too strong to like let you do that on the last night. Maybe it'd be like too many people would rely on that, but that was the one time where it's like, oh, this isn't working totally perfectly for me, as well as immersion and gameplay mixing.
So do you think it's going to appeal to just kind of farming sim fans in general, I suppose?
Hard.
You know,
it's really hard. I think it's too hard to appeal to that more chilled out vibe. As much as I did have moments of being chill, it's not cozy. It's stressful. There's really sci-fi effed up decisions you have to make that don't feel good to make them either way. A classic like lose-lose situation. everyone's mad at you. I'm a people pleaser gamer. Everyone at the end of Avowed loved me, and I had like a cheering squad. Everyone was like, yeah! I was like, well, won Avowed because everyone likes me. Like, that's how I view games. It's so hard to play this because one guy will be like, we should have better meals. And the other guy's like, we do not have time for that. The sun's going to kill us. Yeah. And I was like, I kind of agree with the fact that we could be dead and who cares if we eat gruel or like a sandwich. And the other guy was like, literally kill yourself. He's like, don't freaking talk to me. And I was like, oh, like, it's just like, it's not meant for good times. It's stressful.
No, but on the farming thing, maybe the fact that you're doing it's so much about passive income, setting people to do things, and then the resources are coming in, and you're delegating what to do with them. That is satisfying in that way, in that genre specifically.
I will say, in my second playthrough, I prioritized having more altars instead of being stingy, because I didn't have a lot of altars in my first playthrough because I was almost worried about not having enough food to feed them, and like it was almost scary to bring in new life. And like even the moral implications of that, they make you think of that all the time. Like one guy's like, "Why'd you make me? That's so messed up."
Oh, that's
like,
good.
You're like so right. But,
and the core thrust is what's going to happen to them after this is over. Are they? This company really going to let you bring 8 of yourself back?
Right.
Yeah. So like doing that, and the second playthrough, I have way more altars, and it just makes more sense. So I would, if you could do it in your first playthrough, have more altars than you think you need. Because ultimately they'll just go be out doing the things that you would do, and you can focus on the bigger picture, like making sure you make it to the final things, and also talking to them and having fun. Like who cares if you send the botanist out to mine one day? It's not the end of the world if he's not always planting things, you know? Like you can shuffle people around and do what you want to do. But I didn't have the research guy in his research lab as much as I wanted, so I didn't get as many upgrades, so then I didn't have unlocks I wanted to have, so blah, 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 and that could have been solved if I had more altars. It's like, there's a lot going on. It is not calming. It is not relaxing, even if there is passive elements to this. I was stressed playing this game.
It's the lightest compared to This War of Mine and Frostpunk. It's like rom-com compared to those two, I feel.
Yeah. My major ding was the fact that it's not clear enough for me, especially there's like a final act. I'm not going to say what number in case people care about that. But the end of the final act, it is not clear about how much time you'll need to finish something.
Okay.
And it made me have to go back like 15 days to refigure it out because I thought I understood how things had to be done, all that kind of stuff. And then it was like, you only have 2 days left until the sun beats up. And there's like this big final mission I had to do. So I went and did the final mission. I was like, oh my God, I'm just making it in time. And then the game was like, go to bed and have a meeting tomorrow with your altars. And then I went to bed and it was like, you burned up from the sun. I was like, why can't we have the meeting this evening? Why do we have to have that? Like there was like stuff like that I was just like, oh, like that's just poor planning on like the objectives. It should have said, make sure you have an extra day after the meeting or after the thing so that you know that like, because I was planning out my days to make sure I had enough to do everything I wanted to do and finish on time. Because why would you end 5 days early? It makes no sense in a game like this. You want to be having everything set up the right way. And then for that to just say, like, have a nice sleep. We'll talk in the morning about how we're going to figure this out. And then it was like game over. Oh, and I went back and every minute mattered. Yeah, could I also go back in real life and change my way I spend my days?
That's what you're supposed to be doing.
It took me out a bit. And I think this game it has elements in it that are fun to go back and do things. Like, for instance, it has little icons that show you what choice you chose before if you want to choose something else this time around. I thought that was fun. But for my first time playing it and beating it, I hated that. That made me so mad that it almost like was like a whole score point down when that one thing happened. I was like, that pissed me off so much.
Oh, God. And so chat's saying it's like 20 hours or so to beat? Is that about?
Yeah, that's about right.
And then encouraged to play through again. Got it.
Yeah, but I will say I went back and started from scratch again, hoping that there was some kind of New Game Plus sort of elements, and it doesn't really work that way. Like the biggest thing is I wanted my research unlocks to carry over into my next playthrough because I thought that would be fun because I unlocked a lot of like auto miner things. I was like, perfect, I can just set up all my auto miners and then I can just focus more on the story stuff, which is kind of what I wanted to unlock anyways. But then as soon as I got the researcher, none of the unlocks were there and I was like, oh. So I think the way to go back and play it is not to start fresh with a new gameplay, but to go back to an earlier day and just like redo it. But my brain hates that because it feels like it's erasing my first time I played it, and now that doesn't count. That's just a weird way my brain works, but I kind of wish it went the other way.
Your previous dialogue choices, though, it shows like this is what you chose last time, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I am really enjoying it, and it's like it got me so out of the gate Like I'm a little scared of it now and a little apprehensive, but like I did not expect there to be a second Claire Obscure that just like instantly hooks me, and I love everything that they're doing with it, and it is just such a different style of gameplay. Like my wife asked me the first night after I was done playing, like, you know, what was I playing and what's it like what's the genre, and I'm like, I don't know what the genre is. Like, I've never done this stuff in a game before, and it is so weird and such good. Like, I am so happy to have a sci-fi game that really cares about the sci-fi, where sci-fi isn't just like window dressing, you know, like a setting.
Totally.
Okay, it's sci-fi, so that therefore we all have like fancy armor and we're still just shooting people like, you know, any other shooter. Like they really care about the sci-fi. They really care about like presentation of it. Like the first time that you take an altar out, which is before they put up the title, they put the title up as it's doing it, but like Jan goes down, he sets it up, and then he just sits on the ground like across from it and just stares at it while it's like processing, and it is such a good shot that like I got goosebumps. And then they flash up the altars, and it's just like, you guys know what you are doing so well, and you are nailing it. Like, so I'm really excited to keep playing, even though I'm a little scared.
So with you. And the milestones, the way you look at the life timeline too, the presentation of that is so cool. It feels like it's something that would be in a cutscene where you're going between the little like windows into these different spots in your life, but it's totally self-driven. The second you open that up, I'm going through every single thing and reading it. It's so cool.
100%. That is exactly, like, I read his entire timeline, and like, you know, obviously I knew the premise of the game, but I was not expecting like that much agency over who you're creating. And like the first one, you know, is like baked in, and so they brought him out, and then they were like, hey, you could like make another one of us to like figure stuff out. And when I looked at the timeline, all of a sudden there were like 15 different split points, and there were split points off of the altars timeline. The alternate timeline has alternate timelines. I was like, oh my God, like, and then I didn't create anyone because I'm scared of like bringing more people in and the consequences, but I will do that now because Haley has convinced me that to not be so scared.
It's a lot easier, which I think is thematically cohesive, because it's like the whole reason you're making altars is to try to survive on this harsh planet to get away. So it makes sense if it's too hard if you don't have enough. Hence the whole reason why you have to make them in the first place.
Yeah, it's like a last resort that you're even told to do it.
Yeah, and like to the credit, like that is a glowing recommendation for me for the writing of this, because like I really cared. Like once the mechanic was there, I was like, I'm finally kind of on good terms with him. Like, I don't want to F this up. I don't want to screw up someone else when I bring them in. Like, I care so much more about the decisions that I'm making, when usually in games it's like, yeah, just shoot everybody in the head and it's fine. Whatever, go on to the next objective. Like I am tense and freaked out about all of this. And like the exploration is super cool and super interesting and not what I was expecting at all. And there was like a place to mine, and it was like, but it's irradiated over there, so like anybody you send there is going to like be poisoned by it. And the mechanic was so like, cranky. Do you want me to go in there and do it? And I was like, no, I don't. Like, let's just try and get by without the resources. I don't like. It is wild. It is a wild game. I'm very smitten with it.
The exploration is like third person over the shoulder running around. That was part of the initial trailer. That's like, okay, and this really might be something I get into, versus just like appreciate the concept of. And that stuff does feel really cool and is in that hard sci-fi lane that Jeffem's talking about, where it's not shooting monsters so much. There's stuff that's kind of approximating that, but it is a lot more about exploring and finding genuinely surprising stuff and learning about it from being around it and from talking to your altars around it. That sense of exploration is really unique to it.
Yeah, like the running around, like, you know, if you've played 11-bits games in the past, you kind of get an idea of maybe some of the emotions you'll have during this game, but just like the simple thing of being able to walk around in that base as well is like, oh God, you know what I did? I wish I could have been able to walk around in my XCOM base. It turns out it is fun to build this out and then like take a super fast elevator over there and go explore it a little bit. Like that is just innately satisfying.
Other altars walking past you with their little comments, little snippy comments if they're mad.
Right.
Oh, if they're mad at you, they're like, get out of my face while you're in the elevator. You're like, my second playthrough, like I immediately set it up the way I had in my first one, because I just memorized where, like, you know, this room's always by this room, by this room, and I just couldn't. It was switched around when I started, and I was like, nope, and I had to take 5 minutes and reassess everything and put it the right way, quote unquote.
is going
Then
to
I've
be.
seen other people on YouTube with their setups. I'm like, that's a way better way to set it up to maximize space. I didn't even think about it.
Oh, funny. It's going to be a really fun one to talk about in comparison to Death Stranding. It's like not identical games, obviously, right? But like, I think
there's little tastes of Death Stranding in this. 100%.
Yeah, totally. We'll talk about that more in the future. But The Alters, it's out on PC and Xbox and PlayStation. If you want to check out The Alters, sweet. Look forward to talking about it more. On a similar note, they're at it again, folks. Squeakross Home Squeak Home.
Weird
is out now.
Killer decisions, just ruling.
When
It makes the altars look like Welcome to Her.
Oh, I love this game. I saw a trailer for this game last year, Wholesome Direct.
Yeah.
Literally exactly a year. And then Sarah and I went to watch the new Wholesome Direct this year and literally go back, watch the tapes. First thing I said was like, I hope we see Squeakross again. That was last year. And then they come out, they go, Squeakross is available today. And I literally went,
Squeaked.
I've been waiting for it.
And it's sweet to have just a Picross style game drop, all mouse themed Picross. And then it's sitting at like overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. It seems like everyone's just like, yes, feed me mouse Picross, please.
How did
the rats.
This completely went over my head. I did not.
Oh,
realize.
Kyle.
Mr. Picross.
Kyle.
It's embarrassing.
It
I'm
is a
gonna get it
Kyle
for my
game.
Switch too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Great Switch 2
Well,
game.
it's a Switch 1 game, but I can play it on my Switch too.
Yeah.
Hey, that counts. We'll take anything we got at Switch 2 at this point. Yeah, this is a great Switch 2 game,
Yes, it
please.
So wait, okay, so it's Picross, but there's also like a home building aspect. Is that I'm just
The
like looking at
puzzles
screenshots.
unlock furniture for your little rat, and then you'll get the new thing and you'll take it out and put it in the room, and then you can do a harder version of each puzzle to unlock new colors of each item too. So each puzzle is really like 2 puzzles.
I fear that this is that. What was that? Murder by Numbers a couple years ago, which was like a Picross game with like a story.
Yeah.
I just played that and I was so excited for it, and I was like, I just want to do Picross puzzles, and I ended up just like going, and I wonder if this will be the same thing.
You can, Kyle.
You can't just play the Picross.
You can just ignore your rat. You don't have to put any of that furniture crap in there if you don't want to.
All right. I don't like
You'll
furniture.
live
we'll
like
all
a
feel-
bachelor, but
we'll feel
you'll
sorry
be done
for
with
you.
puzzles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Picross. I played a lot of different Picross games. Same as Kyle of like, I want to see every different take on how you can make a more gamified Picross, and it's never been that exciting. But Squeakross, I think, is like for fans of Picross, this is not just another puzzles in a new kind of shell. It is like for the lovers of Picross. It's so
All right.
it's more polished than any of the Switch Picrosses were. It's more satisfying. You know, you're 5x5s, which you get all the time, of course. It's always like, what even is this? I guess this is kind of what they're saying. But even at the 5x5, you see that shape and you see it turn into a 3D model of that thing that is cute. So it is really rewarding even to do the smaller ones before you get to the big giant ones that take forever to then get a beautiful picture. And
Right.
you always get this cool 3D model out of it. It's so cute. And hey, Picross heads, listen up, Kyle.
That's me.
Ever heard of 8x8 puzzles?
Yes.
I never done an 8x8 before. I did 5x5, 10x10, 10x15, 20x20.
I guess. Yeah, they usually are divisible by 5, aren't they? Okay.
Right. I said,
yeah.
we're doing something here when I got my first 8x8.
They did one that was like 8x4. Like they got non-square, equal
Y'all have just
sided.
never played Mega
rectangles.
Picross is all that you're revealing about yourselves. You guys are telling
Kyle,
on yourselves.
if you know this much about Picross, why are you not playing this game?
I'm downloading it right now. Why do you think I'm
us.
looking
Good.
off to the side?
That's it. You're kicked out of the Home Squeak Home.
It's like the thing that I love most about it. The mouse rat stuff. Is it a mouse or is it a rat?
The rats.
I made a
It's
rat. It's a
They're
rodent
in-game.
creator. I made a rat.
But in game,
Okay.
they have connections to rat sanctuaries where you can donate money via the game menu to donate to
okay.
rat sanctuaries, and there's rats in the game based on the real life rats. I need homes, you guys.
Rat Sanctuary? Isn't that Leo's bedroom?
Hey,
Wow.
high five.
Yeah.
Rats need homes too.
Nice one.
The rat stuff is cool. I think like it's not a sexy sell, but like the UI for Squeakross is insane. Like they have made
sexy?
like they've made the act of playing Picross like really satisfying. Like they do things where it's like they will highlight the numbers as you're working on them. They will gray
Inches.
out a specific number in a row or column. if like you have figured that chunk out so far, so it will just show you the ones that are left. They cross them out once you have like everything put in, and so it's just like on the fast puzzles, you know, you're yeah, and yes, and what you're putting out is cheese, of course. We can't ignore that.
Right.
But like as you're putting things out, there's just so much that's like getting highlighted and updated and crossing out that it makes you feel like some kind of mathematician genius as you're doing it. And like the puzzles themselves feel more like handcrafted in terms of like constructed to feel good to solve, which is like a very nebulous thing that's hard to. But like, you know, like I play a lot of Sudoku and stuff, and you can tell when a Sudoku puzzle has just been created by a computer versus created by a constructor who like actually thinks about how you're solving these. And I've been getting those vibes from the puzzles of like, this is unfolding really nicely in a really satisfying way. And then like the harder puzzles, you know, like I like the like very small bite 5x5 ones. And then the larger ones take a little longer, and they are also satisfying. And then when you go back and do Nini's challenges or whatever for the ones that you unlocked before, like those are surprisingly thinkier, and so like they just have the full spectrum, and it is the best presentation I've ever seen for a Picross game. And then you have the rat stuff too, which is fun and cute.
Jesus.
So.
Squeakross.
Yeah, I'm excited about this now.
Yeah, Home Squeak Home on Steam and Switch if you want to check it out.
You can make a really messed up rat, you know? You choose like missing left foot, clipped
Give him a
ear.
personality of like deranged. He's like,
Yeah, mine is feral.
That's
A feral artist.
When you create the rats, like it captures that kind of like the me editor where it's like I feel like I am creating an actual character, and I'm not spending 15 minutes like adjusting the angle of my nostrils or whatever bullshit. It's like it is fixated on creating a unique character that feels like they have a personality by the time that you're done with it. So
that's
multiple
It is
whisker
good, too.
options.
Yeah.
what more do you need in life?
Finally.
A game we talked about a couple weeks ago based on the preview, where I think the take was, I don't know. It's now out, which is FBC Firebreak from the good folks at Remedy. This is the co-op shooter, the Left 4 Dead-esque thing that's set within the world of Control. You're in the oldest house, taking down mysterious forces with your buddies. Kyle, number one Remedy fan, and then Haley, number one Remedy fan, Leo, number one Remedy fan, and Jacob, number one Remedy fan. There's a new episode of Max Settings on MinnMax's YouTube channel if you want to watch them play for several hours in co-op here. But after the preview and that wave, Haley, how you feeling about Firebreak at this point?
It's okay.
Okay.
I had some fun with it. It's just, I think I love Remedy's universe they've set, so you could probably plunk me in anywhere and I'd be like, cool, neat. Like just the premise of why you're going through a level is just so much more fun in this than any other like multiplayer co-op thingy. Like shoot the post-it note monster. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Perfect. Yep.
Add this teapot augment to your gun and now it shoots boiling water. And I'm like, haha, that's silly. Like I just, all that stuff I love. But I kind of love Remedy for their amazing narrative work and not the shooting. And that this is just like, what if we had minimal narrative and all shooting? So just the inverse of kind of what I'm looking for. But not to say that I didn't have a good time, but I think I had a good time because Leo and Jacob are my friends, which we talked about a lot. And it was a fun playground to hang out with them with. I do not think we'll probably ever play it again. Correct me if I'm wrong, Leo.
Oh, wow.
Was kind of the vibe we got at the end of it.
No, and if you hear that Jacob and I are playing without you, you're being lied to.
That's pretty messed up if I hear that. I'm not gonna lie, I'll freaking freak out. But the other thing was like some of the like Jacob had a tweet about this too, or a Blue Sky post.
Actually, I just pulled it up because I thought maybe we could read it for his sake if we want.
Sure, let's read it for Jacob's sake because I completely agree with his take here, and we talked about it during our stream.
Here, I'll read it in Jacob. So I'm gonna do a spot on Jacob. You guys ready?
Okay, let's hear it.
Played a few hours of FBC Firebreak today. Bizarre game. Each character feels weak and bad to play in a different way. Objectives are conceptually fun, but mechanically just miserable. Doesn't feel maliciously designed as a living game, but hard for me to understand how much of this got through. In one of the handful of levels, you're tasked with bringing 20 plus radioactive orbs to a cart. Each orb makes you walk slow and gives you a poison status effect. You can clear this poison by going back to a shower at the level's entrance. What is the enjoyable part there?
Yeah.
Right.
Was that a good impression, you guys?
That was perfect.
Okay,
that was really good.
Yeah.
You should have. Your YouTube channel is about to get 1 million hits. Congratulations. That one was particularly egregious, and probably my least favorite one was you collect these elder pearls from eels in the wall. You have to shoot the eels in the wall to get them to spit out the pearls. If you pick up a pearl, it makes you irradiated, and then after like 5 seconds, it's doing the irradiated like crackling sound, like, oh, you're dying right now, kind of thing. And then it got to a point where I was just dying by mistake on the other side of the map because I was too close to a pearl. Jacob would have to peel over, walk for 30 seconds to res me. There's no enemies around. I'm just dying because the mechanics aren't good. You know what I mean? That's why I'm dying. So it just sort of felt bad. When there was like cohesion between, me spraying them all with water, Leo zapping them, Jacob doing something else on the side. That made me read Jacob as if he wasn't up. Jacob's doing the third thing. There was some really fun gameplay moments, but yeah, it's just not quite what I want it to be. / I don't think I'm going to return, unfortunately.
I have no doubt that in 2 months they will have responded to the feedback with patches.
Yeah.
And it will be a better thing to play, because right now it is like all of these unpleasant things, and it takes forever to unlock stuff, including the fun stuff, including the teapot thing takes forever. There's not that much content in it. There's 5 missions of 3 levels each that are not that long each. Like the third level is 30 minutes probably tops. Yeah. So it is really kind of bone dry, and what is there is really stretched out. So that will not be how it remains. I would be really surprised, but now it's so in that fine camp that it's like, sure, you can play a game and have fun with your friends because you're goofing off and you're having fun, but is it more fun than just talking to these friends? And I think some games don't quite clear that bar.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so much of their messaging has been like, hey, pressure's off. Like, it's on Game Pass. Play it if you want. It's on PS Plus. Like, hey, don't yell at us. We're not demanding you play this. It's like, it's such a weird spot for a game industry that's pumping out 6,000 games every day.
It's weirdly refreshing in that way.
It is refreshing, yeah.
I don't feel like I need to talk more on this than what we're going to say today, because that's what their expectation almost is. It feels like in the way they've communicated to us thus far. They're like, hey, Control 2 is going to come out at some point soon. Isn't this thing fun over here? Anyways, moving on. That's sort of what it feels like. So,
but what's in there being so gated, so it takes so long to get to everything, like Welcome Tour, it is hard to not be like, it's not the perfect version of that, because you cannot just check it out for a weekend and see everything and be satisfied. It is like kind of a grind. It feels like they didn't quite commit to that. At least that's how it just, as a player.
That's good. That's good.
What do developers do, Jeff? What are they to do? How do we communicate better? That frustrating thing of like, we're not hurting for games. We all have more games that we could possibly glance at, let alone play. And it's like,
they're going to release a product if they want to release a product. They don't care about whether we want more games.
It's just such a weird spot. I don't know. I think a lot of Atari's lineup over the last couple of years. We did that interview with Wade Rosen where he's like, the strategy is like, just keep hitting singles. Let's just get like a bunch of little solid games out there. And I think about it in terms of this too, of just like, not saying you have to swing for a home run every time you make a game, because that would imply that probably a budget's going to get more complicated. But it's just like this feeling of no one is going to jump on this in a huge way for Firebreak or these games like a Yars Rising in Atari's camp. It's like no one's cruising around being like, God, if I could just have a solid 7 out of 10 right now. But if you're a developer, I don't know what you do. Like, you want to make the game you want to make, and if you don't want to swing for the fences every time.
Is part of it not so much the game that they want to make versus they need people to have a game to make, otherwise they're just paying people to not work and then they're going to go out of business?
If Control 2 isn't ramping up. And
maybe while they're making this, they're working on Control 2 assets. And it's like, why don't we kill 2 birds, 1 stone, just release a product in the interim?
Yeah, could be. Mm-hmm. And, they're always in that camp too. We talked about it last time with the preview of like, they're an independent studio, and it seems like maybe there's a more sustainable model if we have microtransactions for cosmetics and a multiplayer thing that seems safer than every 5 years taking another big swing at single player that if one of those misses, we're effed.
Yeah.
It's just odd.
Like, your sentiment of like, yes, we all have so many games to play is spot on. And I feel like it's doubly true if you're trying to put out a multiplayer game. Like, people who like those kind of multiplayer games have their games that they play every day, and like to think that people are just gonna just be like, oh, well, you like playing, the finals every day of every week, every weeknight, like then surely you'll want to stop playing that game and play this to try this because we're also a multiplayer game. Like that I don't understand why people still keep trying to make live service multiplayer games.
It makes me think that if Remedy wanted to make something like this, what if it was a 6-hour campaign 3-player co-op that you play once and beat, if they don't want it to be a forever game, versus like kind of half-assing the direction of a forever game. I don't know. It's interesting that they tried it, but I don't think it's a worthwhile type of game.
Yeah, I think the answer is because of potential revenue. It's like you can make that game, but there's a clear cap on that. Whereas this type of game, in theory, it's an infinite cap on revenue. But
I truly, in my total conspiracy, make it up out of nowhere mind, I think there's some corporate person that is learning a harsh lesson from this, and Remedy won't have to make another game like this again.
Yeah.
There's some kind of point that needed to be proven by making this that has never been proven.
It does feel a little bit like that. It does feel like that. Yeah. And it's especially with the messaging of not being like, if you love Control, you've got to play this. It seems like they were much like, it's a cool little thing. If you want to check it out, that's cool. So they feel very meek about it in an interesting way.
To say what nice things there are to say about it.
Yeah.
Great Control Remedy design in here on the little gizmos, on the monsters, on the bosses. Lots of things that made us smile to see just in the character models, even if you're not getting lore documents or little story moments that might make it more of a worthwhile little piece of the Remedy pie. It still is. There's still talented artists there who've made some cool stuff for this.
Yeah, that's awesome. FBC Firebreak, it's available on PlayStation Plus and Game Pass. I believe it's both, right? This was the game that was on both?
Yeah, it is both.
Okay, sweet. And also on Steam. Jeff, speaking of infinite revenue, you've been going back to play No Man's Sky. Your old favorite from 2016. They got me again. You're playing on Switch too?
Yes. I saw an article that was like, hey, the Switch 2 version of No Man's Sky is flawless. And it was interesting to me because I do want to go back, and they just did another huge, giant release of new content and whatever. But also, like, I felt like I don't have a good benchmark for how powerful the Switch 2 is in the first place. And like,
right.
Like where it fits in the hierarchy of different consoles and whatnot. So I was like, okay, well, if it runs well, I want to see it, and it feels like a good excuse to go back and play more No Man's Sky, which I always feel like I never really get into as much as, like, I enjoy what I play, and then I just stop playing, and I don't get progressed far enough to see all the new content anyway. And so I've been playing the Switch 2 version, and it's not flawless. It runs okay. Like it's like 30 frames per second, and it feels like they're compromising somewhat on the visual fidelity. Last time I got into it, it was Series X, and so like that is the most powerful version that I've played. But I was up till like 4 a.m. last night playing it because
this is every week.
It's hooked into me again.
Stop saying that.
For all the stuff that they have added to it, I don't. It's not going to be like an amazing Destiny style shooter. Still, it doesn't have like the RPG storytelling and stuff. But what it has is like that vibe of living in space and like going to different planets and just kind of. It is my perfect escape game when I want to not be on planet Earth anymore, and I just want to F off out into space and not think about earthly things anymore. Like, this is the perfect game for that, and like it's getting me all again. And what they have added has just added a ton of progression and depth of like systems and upgrades and things to just give you that excuse to continue living in this kind of universe.
Yeah, and it's your first time playing handheld, right? Like, I feel like the thrill.
And that makes up for the, like, not quite as polished visuals. Like, I just like being able to sit on the couch and playing it. There is lore to the different, alien species and whatever is going on, and that's fine. It is very heady, like sci-fi. They have also thought a lot about the kind of sci-fi, but I don't love the presentation of it, but it is through and through a story game in terms of just like the shenanigans that you get into and the predicaments and like being stuck in a cave because I can't find like the tunnel that I like burrowed my way down in here and just like finding a good upgrade. One of the first upgrades that I got for like your multi-tool, which is what you mine with and stuff, is it like you get credits for everything that you take a picture of, like all the animals and plants on every planet, and like this upgrade that I feel like they must have planted like specifically for new players to get, just gives me like a 7,000% increase on like the money that I make. So like everything I'm taking a picture of is like tens of thousands or up to 100,000 credits for everything. So like all of a sudden, like money doesn't matter as much. I'm able to buy a lot more stuff. And like now you can just like, you can wholesale create a ship out. Like you can pick through all the parts that they've added over, the decade that they've been working on it and just create your own ship. And it's just like, there's so much, like I am now just consuming content and like all these different upgrades and stuff because like they have, like, I'm starting to get all the hooks and the, cyclical like upgrade paths and stuff. And it is very satisfying. It is one of those Jeffem games. We should have put it on the Venn diagram, Leo.
Yeah, right.
Yesterday.
Have you confirmed that is a upgrade they give to new players now, or is there a chance you just got really lucky?
I feel like I must have just gotten really lucky, but I have no reason to know or believe that they do give it to everybody, but it is like, it was such a treasure to have randomly found in whatever little place that I found it that I like at one point I got a new multi-tool and I thought I lost the old one and I didn't want to play anymore until I figured out it's like the menus are still very arcane and it's hard to switch between them, but I was like, I can't play this anymore if I'm not getting paid for everything that I'm taking pictures of. But it is just like it is a very satisfying game if just like the world and that exploration appeals to you. It is a good version of it on the Switch too.
Good.
If you're hungry for something to play on the Switch too,
I am a hungry one gamer.
Right. I've never considered that it might be Steam Deck verified until this conversation, and I went and checked it, and it is. So that'd be a great place for me to try and replay that too. So
yeah, for sure.
What a great future for the Switch 2 that would be if the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck are friends, and I won't be such an annoying PC only gamer now because it'll cross over to what's on Switch 2 too, probably.
How glorious! Everybody's merging. Hey, we also talked about this one after GDC, I think, where we both played the demo for 2AT.
Yeah.
From Kaita Takahashi, the creator of Katamari, obviously. Did you finish 2AT?
Mm-hmm.
God bless you. This is the game where it's very cute and you play a little kid named Teen, I do believe, and their arm is stuck out.
You can name it whatever you want.
All right, but they're stuck in a T-pose running throughout the game. Then you eventually can make little whirlwinds and tornadoes and fly around. And based on the demo at GDC, where it's very stressful because Kaita Takahashi was watching me play the entire time, and it's such a charming, quirky thing that you feel like a jerk if you're not laughing at a giraffe dancing around the screen. But it seemed like a cute little thing that'd be fun to play with a 5-year-old watching you.
Exactly correct.
And that is the full read after finishing the game as well?
Yeah, I play his games for the vibes. I've played pretty much all his games. I platinumed Wadham, and that game is just like...
Platinumed Wadham?
Yeah, that was during law school when my mental health was not good. And that's like what these games are for, is like colors, la la dee dee da da, like sounds. It's just like yippee. That's literally what it's for. If you try to get anything more out of this, what are you doing over here kind of energy. If you know where the plot of this is going, no, you don't. The ending of this is so freaking weird. It was kind of interesting.
All right.
But I will say, part of why I like his games is the gameplay is quite flow state, no thinky fun. And this was more like I was playing a children's book where it was a lot of just like reading and watching scenes play out. And then I would play a little bit of gameplay in between those. So didn't love it nearly as much as all his other games.
Okay.
It's still interesting. It's just, I don't really know how to, it almost feels mean to be mean to this game because it's just such a pure little colorful thing. But it's just, I was a little bit bored while playing it, I think. But I wanted to see it through because I did hear from a friend the ending's really weird. So I mostly stuck around to see that out. But it took like 6 hours to beat, so it's not terribly long either.
Okay. Is it still like the beginning of just kind of going through a series of like, okay, I guess I rotate the analog stick here and I try and eat cereal this way? It's just kind of a lot of quirky little interactions that aren't exactly Late in the World on Fire.
It's truly just kind of like you're watching an anime or something and you play, like, even to the point that there's like the same song that plays every morning, kind of like the intro song. Okay. And at the end of every quote unquote episode, I mean, they do call it an episode, I shouldn't say quote unquote, they have like an ending song that like the characters will sometimes be swapped out of. Rebecca Sugar sings the ending song and I adore her. She's the creator of Steven Universe. She's Giraffe. She sings a song about waking up at 3 in the morning to bake bread for her sandwiches. And I would sing it in bed and my partner was like trying to sleep. He's like, shh. It's like, I wake up at 3 every morning. It's like, it's just cute, but it's for a child. So I don't feel right to get any more than I need to do for that. So that's what I will say. Yeah.
2AT. Yeah, it's from...
Full of bugs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his character was stuck in a T-pose the whole time. I got you.
Oh my God.
Got you, idiot.
God, you dumb simpleton.
Oh,
dumb bastard.
I was thinking about like Annapurna's in a weird spot, right? Because they published this game overall. Mm-hmm. And there was a story from months and months ago about the entire team quitting for Annapurna Interactive.
Yes.
I was like, we are stepping down. And I'm curious what Annapurna looks like now. Clearly, I mean, these games are on the runway for a long time, but it's like that was a cataclysmic event. And then you look at Annapurna's lineup and it's like looking pretty good still. Like Skin Deep, they just published, right? Real World looks sweet, coming out soon. Mixtape, It was game of the show for Summer Game Fest for this crew. Like Lego Voyagers, they have a Blade Runner game coming up. It's like they still...
I think maybe we'll be feeling the effects of that in 2 years when there's no projects coming out because they haven't been set up in advance.
Yeah, it just feels so weird to be like, oh, Annapurna Interactive, goodbye. And then, oh no, I guess it's going to be years of solid games still coming out from them technically.
Goodbye soon.
Right. It's they're in a weird spot. Jeff, I have one simple question for you. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't beat around the bush. There's a game called Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. I was there, Rune Factory 1, baby, being like, this is it. This is what I've always wanted. Give me Harvest Moon, but more of an RPG and more dungeons. This is cool.
With combat,
Yeah. Is Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma on the Switch and the Steam good?
In Switch 2 as well, right? There's like a upgraded
Switch 2. Yeah. That's where I'm playing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Okay. All right. Got it.
It's interesting, and I have enjoyed what I've played so far. I feel like
you get
Rune
a full night's
Factory.
Rest, though. Is that what's going on?
No, I stayed up pretty late one night playing it. Rune, although to be fair, like I have fallen asleep like 5 times playing this game. Most nights when I play it, I end up falling asleep during cutscenes during it. But Rune Factory is one of those series, and the original Harvest Moons, and maybe Story of the Seasons, because I get confused about them. I feel like all of the Japanese games that started this genre have really struggled to transition it into 3D. And Rune Factory especially is one where it's like, Jesus, I hate the character designs, in previous games. And like, they do things where it's like you farm and you make one giant radish and then you carry around a giant radish around your head as you like take it to the farming box. And it's like, what are you doing? What don't you understand about this core formula that like everyone else is now doing better? And this one is interesting because they do those things better than in kind of the previous 3D ones, but they also focus a lot more on combat this time around.
Yeah.
To the point where like you're getting different weapon types, you are doing a lot more fighting, you're doing boss fights and there's, like an entire like stance break thing that's going on with bosses that is actually pretty cool because it like once you hit them enough or like parry an attack, they will slow down, but you can like get in a flurry of hits as they're like moving in slow motion and stuff. So like it is a lot more focused on combat and exploration because you're going out of this village that you're trying to like revitalize and exploring these different locations. And then there is a lot more like village building, like the actual farming. You don't have to spend much time on if you're not interested. And they've really like juiced up how much resources you're getting out of farming. Like each plot that you do when you plant like turnips or radishes or whatever, it gives you like 5 to 6 of the thing that you're planting, plus also a seed that you can just immediately replant. And it's all like mystical kind of, you're like an earth dancer and it's kind of set in olden Japanese times. And so like you have a drum that you can play that just skips ahead like the growing aspects of it. So like some crops you can basically just grow in a single day. And but like after half a dozen hours or whatever, you are recruiting a bunch of other people, like farmers and things, and you can just assign people to do all these different jobs and things. So it's simmier than I expected. It's more focused on combat, which is better than in previous games, but still, isn't going to stand up to other like bespoke action games. So it is a weird mix of mechanisms that I have been intrigued by, but I won't lay down and die for in terms of recommendations to other people.
Yeah, the satisfying basic level.
They do one interesting thing is in the farming mode on the Switch 2. You can pop out to like a very zoomed out top down, and then you can use the mouse mode. You can switch to mouse mode, and you just click on all, like you plant everything super fast, and then you can just water it all really fast, like you were using a mouse, on a PC.
Hey,
so,
mouse mode.
There we go, mouse mode.
Good use of mouse mode. But yeah, it's interesting, and I do want to play more. It is a weird. And the story is all over the place and very weird as well.
Squeakross, the whole damn game is mouse mode.
They're rats!
Is anyone still playing? Is Fantasy Life I still in anybody's
I played it a ton since we last talked about it.
Yeah? Digging it more or less?
Yeah, I have.
A little more. I don't know. It was like in absence of anything else coming along, and now that Squeakross is here, I don't think I'll ever touch it again.
Okay, gotcha.
It's you can play it, Fantasy Life.
Perfect. Hey, Kyle, do you know how this whole thing operates?
I have no idea. I've never.
You always pick Kyle.
Never told me. Yeah.
It seemed better. I don't know. He hadn't talked for a while. I was trying to liven him up. That's right, Kyle. Patreon. People jump in. Right. We say this URL almost every episode saying, hey, people drop out literally on a daily basis. And so to keep us around as an outlet, we're doing okay, folks. It's not that dire. But it's always nice when new folks jump in. For example, we had somebody named Sign Guy Bubsy just jump in on Patreon at the $10 tiers. Got an email notification about that. They jumped in. Maybe they want the extended version of that Summer Game Fest travelogue, the Brazil travelogue, the Pissy Zone post debates, all that fun stuff.
Content for them?
Zero Bubsy content. Oh no, we talked about Bubsy with the previously mentioned Wade Rosen from Atari in that interview about how he wants to make a new Bubsy game. So there you go, go watch that. Or people like Magic 8 Ball that jumped in at the $5 tier. Unlock the bonus podcast feed, which has early and ad-free versions of this podcast and bonus pod every single week. This week was a banger with Haley and Leo running through the community suggestions for overlooked games from 2025. The midpoint check-in, just to be like, hey, is there good stuff out there? And the answer, Haley and Leo, was there good stuff out there?
Tons.
Oh, of course. My wish list is as thick as a queen.
I heard he checked out Neon Garden and Loot Plot from that stream, and they're cool.
You already did? Jesus.
There we go. So check out that URL, Patreon.com.
I was desperate to stop playing Fantasy Life.
Hey, thank you to people in general, but people specifically like I'm 8-Bit. They want you all to know about Diablo 4, the vinyl soundtrack. It's available in their wonderful online store. It's an I'm 8-Bit soundtrack. It's premium. It's beautiful. There are 4 vinyls along with it. It has the box set with foil embellishments. And if you're there, you should check out I'm 8-Bit's wonderful online store in general, because it's filled with a truly, Kyle, what's the word I'm looking for? Cornucopia of stuff.
Nailed it.
Okay. There's a ton of really great stuff in I'm 8-Bit's wonderful online store, and you can get 10% off of everything by using the code Melted Ice Cream throughout this month of June. Melted Ice Cream, no space, 10% off. They have great vinyls, great physical versions of games, truly a ton of great stuff. If you go to I'm 8-Bit's wonderful online store, go to like sorted by most popular, you will have at least 5 instances, I promise, of being like, ooh, that's cool. Ooh, that's cool. Ooh, that's cool. And you should help support I'm 8-Bit because they support the MinnMax community in a huge way by shipping out a prize each and every week to whoever has the best question submitted on Patreon. This week, of course, the prize is the vinyl soundtrack to Gone Home, the 10th anniversary edition. From
that game's 10 years old?
Sorry.
Oh my
Bad news,
God.
everybody. More than that. But this is from Chris Remo, who did the soundtrack from Idle Thumbs fame, one of my favorite podcasts of all time.
Cool.
All right, here we go. Pay attention, everybody. Only one person's getting this grand prize. I don't care how much you all scream at home about how you all want the prizes. I'm 8-Bit only ships out one. So here we go. Buddy Jarjora writes in. They say, hey, crew, first-time question submitter, I think. Kyle, you know what joke I think about all the time?
No.
It's the Paul F. Tompkins one where somebody asked him if he had any pets. And he goes, no, that I know of. Like answering it as like kids, so stupid.
That's such a funny joke.
Anyway, so Buddy says, what's your take on the internet discourse around Switch 2's first-party offerings being weak? I know it's tough to compete with Breath of the Wild and Odyssey in the first 6 months of the Switch one's life, but how can Nintendo be faulted with a 6-month calendar that includes new Mario Kart, Pokemon, DK Bananza, and Metroid Prime 4? On paper, it seems quite strong. People are saying there must be a big holiday game not yet revealed, but I mean, like, it feels like Metroid and Pokemon are the big guns already. Yeah, there's also, they said that, Kirby Air Riders is coming 2025, but Buddy, I'm with you. I don't want to be number one Switch defender because I really don't think Switch 2 is worth getting at this point unless you're a huge Mario Kart fan. But at the same time, I do feel like years from now, we'll look back and Donkey Kong Bonanza will feel like a launch game. I think we're just in that eager, greedy
bad memory.
Well, of course, we're all senile and idiotic, but it's like it feels like we're in that window right now. Remember when Animal Crossing was going to drop and we're like, the pandemic's hitting, give us Animal Crossing right now, we need it right now. I feel like we're in that phase right now for Donkey Kong Bonanza.
I still remember how that felt though and how mad I was. I didn't get it a week early, even though I did not deserve it a week early. I just wanted it.
Yeah, it was a travesty. Yeah, come on,
Thanks.
Haley, you're quarantined.
It also was a big scramble for everybody to get a Switch 2, so I think now that they have one, it's like, we do more with it now?
Yeah, they want to like validate
FOMO
it.
scarcity marketing doesn't work well with not a lot of launch titles. If you're going to go the FOMO scarcity marketing route, you can't then turn around and be like, chill out. Yeah, there's one game. No, you maybe want this so bad. Also, give me more games.
Right. I would love a smarter person to break down for me how that went, because it did seem like it had the marketing of you have to work to get this and had it available for everybody day one. It kind of got best of both worlds is how it feels.
Yeah.
They made you very scared about pre-orders by making it so the pre-orders were hard.
Mm-hmm.
And they never followed up with how many units they were going to be making, I feel. They just were vague. And then it was like, I hope they make enough.
Nintendo nowadays.
I hate their patents, Jeff, so they need to be really fun on the other side if they're going to be as annoying as they are on the other side.
Yeah, I agree, but it's also like I read this question and I don't know what people expect from Nintendo. Like how
3D Mario. I mean, it's just
video
Breath
games.
of the Wild on day one.
Right.
They expect the greatest game ever made.
I honestly think if Bananza was day one, that
or
would've
Zombie U. Thank you, Leo. Yeah,
been huge. I think if you had a game that's good for playing with friends and a single player experience that's also fun, first party day one, I think that would have shut up 99%.
Welcome to her.
I don't know, man. Like launch lineup for Nintendo is a Nintendo game because they come out with one Nintendo game like every 3 months, and that's the way Nintendo works. But
they also haven't come out with one in like 3 years. It feels like in my head. I know that's not accurate, but it's like last year was Peach and Echoes of Wisdom, so it's kind of like we're kind of owed one. Where's it? And they're like,
women.
You got Mario Kart.
I'm the only one who even like
Mario
played
Kart.
Peach's Showtime, and I loved it. But no one else respects it.
But it was
I
trash.
played and beat Peach's Showtime.
Okay, Kyle's an ally. And all of you guys cannot throw that back in my face.
I just don't read my review on Game Informer.
It's just tough to
that game was
compete.
fine.
It's tough to compete with the Switch 1 2017. I mean, that
know.
basic idea of Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild in the same year. It's like, all right, good luck, everything else forever.
You are right, though. In like 3 years, we're going to be like, oh, yeah, the Switch 2 lineup was pretty good. We had Mario Kart and Donkey Kong. Right? Like people that's just how people are going to refer to it.
I'm gonna be a little bastard.
Please do.
You should.
Yeah, be specific. Don't let it blur.
I do think that not that this is a defensible thing, but I bet Donkey Kong sells a lot more because they withhold it for a month.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like, because like there's so many people who
They're
dropping all this money. They're like, well, I got to get Mario Kart. That Donkey Kong game is supposed to be good, but like, this is like $600 at this point, you know, where if it's like, now there'll be like a month and it'll be like, you know, you have time for your finances to resettle, I guess, you know, and then it's like, and I want something new. Like, I bet it helps its sales, but it would have been very nice to have those would have been a great like launch lineup to have those two together. And, you know, also, I mean, we're kind of assuming Donkey Kong is complete. Like, we're kind of just assuming it's done and has been done for a while because that seems to be how Nintendo functions. But who knows? Maybe they're still, you know, rushing to finish it up. I have no idea.
No, I can't imagine. I think it's pretty ironclad. But I mean, I do think when we look back on this, Mario Kart, you know, you feel about Mario Kart the way you feel about Mario Kart. It's bare minimum, it's going to sell 20 million copies. It is just weird how kind of anticlimactic it feels.
Like 70% attach rate or something like that. Like, which is, I think, even higher than Zelda, I think.
Oh boy. But
it
like,
kind of gives me the same vibe as when like a new iPhone comes out. It's like, obviously I'm buying that, but then, not me. I mean, like in general, the world. I'm not an Apple swill. Chill out. But it kind of gives that same energy as like the new iPhone, and you know the world's going to buy it. So it's not exciting because you know it's good. Right. That's so lame to say, but that's like the vibe of like, of course everyone's getting Mario Kart. I can't wait. Yeah. And then you play that for 2 nights and then you're like, okay.
But I do think in hindsight, once it's been the main Mario Kart for 3 years, it's like, wow, it's crazy. This was here day one. This game that's still so relevant.
Yep, totally.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about
it for a decade.
Oh, we're never going to stop talking about it. Mark this podcast 10 years from now. We'll be talking about Mario Kart World. But like, I do think if you're a single player, cool person gamer who loves living in your basement, cromping on some chips, living the good life solo. I do think
not now, mom.
Yeah, if you're a not now, mom kind of gamer like
put my trench coat in the dryer. I want to go
out. But I think like, you know, having Donkey Kong Bonanza and Metroid Prime 4 in the same year, like that's a cool double whammy.
It's a DC year. It's a bad launch month, is how I feel.
Okay. A launch day, even I
launch
guess.
Day,
right?
yeah. Launch week.
I think so. And you know, Pokemon. I don't know. I love Legends Arceus. I'm not feeling too hot on Z to A, but maybe that one will be a solid time as well. You know, like there's enough in there. I feel good about the launch year for the Switch for sure. And I think we're just being a little too greedy and needy at this moment in this month-long window. We can't wait a month for a Donkey Kong game. Come on.
But I do think I agree though that
the most expensive console they've ever made. Of course, I'm a little bit greedy
with the most expensive games.
Yes.
I do agree that if Mario Kart World had a kind of like Mario Golf, Mario Tennis style campaign, people would be satisfied.
Yeah.
It would be like a bigger feeling thing.
Like, are you guys not doing the races? Like, I'm going through the 50cc and the 100cc.
Wait, you can race in this game? Yeah. What do you mean?
I mean, that's like the single player. That actually, surprisingly, I haven't really been doing the open world, but I've been just like, that's what I've been enjoying is like getting 3 stars on all the races. And I'm like not even halfway through all that.
That's fun. I don't. Yeah, it's just a friend game for me, and that's a me thing. I think.
Yeah.
You and Sarah were saying that, and I sat quietly thinking about how I've been playing single player Grand Prix 2.
You could have spoken up. It wouldn't have made fun of you.
And what's the? I mean, the knockout. What's that called?
Knockout
War.
Like you can play that. Like that's fun too. Single player. Like there is like you can get stars and stuff on all all those too. Don't look at me like that, Ben.
I need to.
Leo also looked at you like that. I don't know why you singled me out for my wincing.
I looked at you harder.
I'm gonna knock you out with that kind of language. We haven't talked about that Splatoon Raiders. That weird drop of Nintendo and the Nintendo Today app being like, by the way, Splatoon Raiders is coming out. Seems like another big single player standalone type thing now, which is interesting. I'm curious to see if it's going to be on the scale of like the Splatoon 3 DLC that I've always been meaning to play. What was that called? Salmon Home Run Derby. What was it again?
Salmon
I don't know,
Run.
but I'm guessing you're going to feel the same way about this too.
Probably.
I've always been meaning to play it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned my lesson with Splatoon. I enjoy my time with it, but it's always so expensive, and then I don't spend enough time with it to warrant the price tag, and I do it every time. And I think I've finally done it enough times.
Is that
I'll get Splatoon, I play it for like a week, and then I never touch it again, and I buy Splatoon 2. I do the same thing. I just buy Splatoon 3, and I think third time's the charm, and I don't think I'll do it again.
But if Splatoon Raiders comes out and it's $25, I dare you to say no. I dare you.
But it'll be $38 for me.
Well, good.
In Canada.
It's going to be that much better for you. The DLC for Splatoon 3
That's how it works.
is called Side Order, by the way. I think I was talking, Salmon Run was it Splatoon 2 DLC, I think? Yeah.
I think that was 2.
Yeah, but still confusing about exactly what the scope of Splatoon Raiders is. But I like it, the idea
We'll
of
ask
it.
Janet.
Yeah.
Is it a play
I
on
do like
Tomb
those
Raider?
single-player campaigns.
That's a great question,
Is it?
Leo.
Platoon Raider?
Platoon Raiders?
Oh my god, I never got that. Maybe.
Let's go with yes. Did you know that there was a PS1 game, Leo, that was called Sheep Raider that starred Wile E. Coyote?
Was it good?
It was okay, but I just think it was weird that they were trying to go for a full Tomb Raider pun back then. L. Stockler writes in...
Didn't try very hard.
Yeah, it's a stretch. They say, hiya, I used to play League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, and Overwatch with my brother and friends, and for the most time, we avoided playing ranked. That was me stumbling, not you being dumb, L. Stockler. Basically, on ranked, losing became too big of a deal and stressed everybody in a number of different ways. How are y'all with competitive games? Do you play ranked?
I do
Only
not
Siege.
touch ranked unless I am drunk as hell and alone. It's the
Kyle
only time
style.
I'm not joking. So if me and my friends are online playing quick play a long time and I drink a lot of beers, and then they'll go night night, I'll go and play a couple ranked by myself drunk.
Because you just
That's
will
the only
not
time
care.
I do it.
You can't have that.
I want to not care. And then if someone is in chat being annoying, I have the courage to be annoying back because I'm drunk. That's genuinely how I do it.
That sounds
not
miserable
joking.
for everybody involved.
It's kind of fun. It's honestly fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did that with The Last of Us 1 multiplayer back in the day. It was my first kind of online gaming experience like that. And it was like the courage to talk to people positively or negatively. I needed a little help with that. Ranked, I first remember in Overwatch, loving Overwatch with my friends, pressing the ranked button and it just changing everything immediately.
Yeah,
It suddenly
yeah.
was so miserable. Even if you go like, it's just a number, who cares? There's just something about it.
People act
It's
like
really
it's
just a
esports all of a
experience.
sudden.
Yeah. But it does.
And Siege, it works with my friends because we're naturally taking it more seriously. Just like that's how we have fun in that game, is really caring about the strats and trying things and outsmarting. But the finals too, we just don't do ranked because there's so many goofy strats in that game, and I'm blessed to play with friends who love to do the goofy strats, and I don't want them to feel like they shouldn't, like there's something on the line. Because
Right.
I will always take a friend who is less good, liking being goofy, in a good mood, versus a friend who is like super invested in winning and really good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
You know, in Honolulu, Leo, on Waikiki Beach out there, they got a big statue of the greatest surfer of all time from like the 50s. I think his name was Duke. Help me out, chat. But he has a quote on there, which I always love. And it says, the best surfer out there is the one having the most fun. I think about that a lot in terms of games of like, you know what, just play your stupid
Easy to
strats
say
and
when you're
have
the
fun.
best surfer. In the world.
Yeah, exactly. He was actually terrible. He
Like
just
when
never
rich
stopped.
people are like, yeah, money's not that important to me. It's like, well, yeah, because you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, he could barely stand on the board, but he was always giggling and laughing and pulling pranks. So everyone just deemed him the
was always
best.
watching
surfer.
His knees.
funny videos.
Kevin Cooper writes in, Kevin, they say, what is a modern song that you think will stand the test of time and be regularly played at events for decades to come? Stuff such as Metallica's Enter Sandman or Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle that are still played all the time today.
Hot to go.
I was thinking
Double
that.
Road.
Yeah.
Do you think Hot to Go, I think Pink Pony Club is 5 times the song Hot to Go is, if I may be so bold.
Oh yeah, it's not my favorite
I agree.
Chaperone song.
But
for
it
sure.
is the most popular by far, we think?
Yes, it's,
What's
The
Those
most like
Trevor's-
event sent, right?
It's in
like
commercials.
The one
Yes.
that like would play in an arena, you know?
Yeah.
Where,
yeah.
like, Pink Pony
If
Club.
they
is
score
like,
a goal at an NHL thing or something, they would pay for the rights to Hot to Go to play it after a goal. They wouldn't do that for Pink Pony Club.
yeah.
I'm a Naked in Manhattan,
Too long to
man.
build up. Yeah.
So do we think, ladies and gentlemen, that Hot to Go is on the level of Enter Sandman for all time? Is that our bold claim here? Because
I
In every
genuinely think
sense.
that.
It's a better song. Never been a Metallica fan.
You think Hot to Go's a better song than Enter Sandman?
I don't really like Metallica. I've never really liked Metallica.
I had a really dark, weird thought the other day where I was driving around listening to some classic rock and Enter Sandman was on. And I was like, I'm not looking forward to dying, but it is going to be sad that there's going to be some day in my life where I'll never hear Metallica's Enter Sandman again.
Wow, that means you really like that song.
That's what got you.
You're like a big Metallica
No,
guy?
not really. I just was really enjoying hearing that
And
song
then
at
did you
that
turn
moment.
into oncoming traffic?
I kid you not.
then
That,
the
Days
other
today.
yeah, and then the very next song that started playing was... Why am I forgetting the name of the most popular
Chumbawamba?
song of all time? What'd you say, Kyle?
Chumbawamba?
Close. No, my Anaconda don't want none unless it's got buns on.
Oh, Sir Mix-a-Lot?
What's-
Yeah, what is it?
Baby
Butts.
got back.
Baby Got Back.
Got
Thank you.
Back.
That was the very next song that played, and I was like, oh, maybe there's some upsides of death. Maybe this is going to be so bad.
like
Wow.
like big butts.
Well, I was just never hearing it, but
Hanson is anti-big butts.
that's
That's
right.
just insane.
Anti-butt.
During
Wow.
Pride Month.
Pro
God, how dare you?
Sandmen.
So we
Yeah.
think is Hot to Go the answer? Like I was really
I genuinely think that's the answer.
Isn't there a song that's like called Anthem that was making fun of Drake or something that everyone was like, this is the greatest song ever, and
Yeah.
they play it at boarding.
Not
I
like
thought
us?
that was. I thought Now Like Us was kind of the impetus of this question, and we would come up with a different one.
Oh, really?
The
No.
the question was, yeah.
That's interesting because Not Like Us, of course, is an absolute smash hit, but it also is tied to a moment
Yeah.
in more of a
Also,
way
isn't
that.
it being played at arenas and stuff?
It is
for sure, yeah.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
It's arena worthy. That's true. AI, God bless its stupid little heart. It's screaming that the answer is The Weeknd's Blinding Lights. That's the most popular song from
that is the most popular song on Spotify, I think, period.
Do we
I think
think
it has the most plays.
Wait, why don't I remember how this goes?
Great. I love that song. And you guys are really doing it justice.
I still don't know it.
Have you heard other songs by The Weeknd?
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly anthemish. It's you could play in a stadium. I don't know if Blinding Lights is going to be on that level.
I could see Abracadabra being like, because even still, Lady Gaga songs from 2009 hit. I could see Abracadabra still hitting in 2030 something.
That is a great song.
My daughter introduced me. She's a big Deltarune fan. She finished Deltarune, and there's a song in Deltarune called "Raise Up Your Bat" that has vocals. That's really good. That I've been listening to a lot. So that's my answer.
Okay, I think that's probably going to be it. Yeah, once the
That's definitely it.
Chicago Pope hears it, he's going to freak out. I think
Chicago Pope, is that what we're calling him? The Chicago Pope.
That Chicago Pope over there.
I got
Pope.
an
I think
answer.
that was a blank check joke.
You got to do it.
good.
The world did it. I'm not proud of this answer, but I think it might be the correct answer for especially if we're talking 50 years from now. What song is still going to be out there in a big way? Jeff, you tell me if I'm nuts on this one. And I know it was made technically before the last 5 years,
You're setting it up like.
but it
crazy. What is it?
ballooned and exploded in
Kanye
the last
West
6 years. Baby Shark. Is Baby Shark the song?
No, that's already out.
No.
That's already out.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
out and I don't want to be in.
You just have a kid.
I guess I could be. So you're saying Chaperone's Hot to Go will outlive Baby Shark? Do. I think you're
God
damn
willing.
foolish. No
I
way.
hope so.
100 years from now, Baby Shark will be around. Hot to Go. Barely a thought.
I think Baby Shark burned really hot and really fast.
It was too hot to go,
I don't
you're
think
saying?
it's even going to be like a lingering kids song. I think
Guys, people
I
are
think
going to
they'll-
keep having kids and they're going to listen to Baby Shark.
Yes.
It's-
Might be a
It's
new
banned
thing.
from Baby Shark.
Yeah, it'll be like a thing they look back on. Like, look
Yeah.
how lazy parents
And
were.
my
They put
kid
on
listened
Baby
to,
Shark.
to the They Might Be Giants kids albums and Raffi and stuff. Baby Shark I didn't let in, but I think maybe
it's
she's
still
Giving iPad Baby.
it's inescapable.
Alex McMillan says, hey, MinnMax, one of my favorite games of the last few years is Tren, a first-party PlayStation exclusive released in 2023 that is part puzzle game, part platformer. It has an amazing art style and really sharp gameplay, and I can't recommend it to anyone because the game is stuck inside of Media Molecule's dreams. It's a game I love dearly and just not and just due to being stuck inside a PS4 game when it released in 2023, it feels genuinely difficult, if not impossible, to ask anyone else to play it. I hear you, Alex.
So cool.
Yeah, Trend is cool. I played it. It has an amazing soundtrack that we talked about in the soundtrack of the year back then in 2023. But yeah, the idea of being like, okay, there's this game called Trend. Technically, it's a Sony game. Okay, you need to get this Dreams game on PS4, and then you need to, hopefully, still be on the home menu somewhere. So what is your favorite game that you cannot, in good faith, recommend to anyone due to how weirdly inaccessible it is?
Interesting. I thought this was inaccessible in like the terms of this game is whack as hell, so I wouldn't recommend it. Not like I physically find it hard to play this.
Yeah, but take it
Like
whichever way you want
PT or
it.
something.
PT's a good answer.
PT probably is the answer.
It is the answer.
Yeah.
My answer is Fuser, which is within that category.
Yeah, because that's gone.
That's a good answer too.
Oh,
Can't
mine's
really get it.
Concord. Yeah.
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 What was it
So
called? Was it
good.
Mario Run or it was Mario Chase? Right, the Nintendo Land.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
that'd
good
be
one.
Great.
Yep.
But like you got to play it on Wii U with a camera. Like that makes it more fun. you know?
Right.
That's good.
That's a
Nice
great
one.
answer.
Yeah, I think like, the old classic of Beatles Rock Band of like, okay, obviously you need all the instruments and then it's not backwards compatible like Rock Band 4 is with all that stuff. It's like a separate thing. And so just trying to line that up for a recommendation is just kind of the windows quickly closing on that one for being feasible.
Half-Life Alyx.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Totally. Yeah.
Moss
like
was like my favorite PSVR game.
Moss was cool. Yeah.
Oh, Moss, yeah.
Michael Berry writes in, do y'all want to be dragged back to Donkey Kong Lore Town, USA? It's a bit of a country. It's so freaking
Donkey Kong
big.
Country?
That's right.
Yeah.
So Michael Berry says, why do you think Donkey Kong Jr. disappeared? He had a big hit with the arcade release, Donkey Kong Jr., then appeared in Super Mario Kart. Outside of a few cameos in N64 games, he just vanished. And with the DK series being relatively popular over the years, why do you think that Donkey Kong Jr. specifically is ignored and left behind forever?
The Rise
Because
of
they got
Bowser
Diddy.
Jr.
Diddy.
Diddy?
I was also going to say he grew up, and that's
got
Donkey
him.
Kong in the Donkey Kong Country games now.
I
And Cranky Kong is Donkey Kong Senior.
I think there's something to it. So like, Game Explain has a whole video about it. There's definitely the conspiracy theory because they have like a poster in Mario Kart World that has all of the sprites from the Super Nintendo Mario Kart, including Donkey Kong Jr., but then they have like their modern representations as well. And it's like, oh, they're implying that Donkey Kong is the same as Donkey Kong Jr., which is a radical thought. And maybe that is why he's gone, is because he actually was this
Grew up.
version of Donkey Kong, even though now Donkey Kong Bonanza throws that into even more confusion with the timeline of Cranky Kong. But if we ignore Cranky and his existence, then just the simple math of Donkey Kong Jr. is Donkey Kong makes sense according to the poster in Mario Kart World.
Does he?
But
have,
also,
a
like
white...
Mario never ate, like no one else in Nintendo ages. It's just the gorillas are cursed with
selective
growing
aging.
old.
mortality. Yeah.
Do you know why?
Gorillas do age faster than humans.
I understand legally they are a nightmare in a lot of ways, Haley, but shouldn't we give Nintendo some credit for never introducing a child of Mario? They've never tried.
What?
I know there's Baby Mario, but they've never had like a.
That is Mario.
It's
yeah.
just a yes or no, Haley.
What are the legal implications of that?
No, just saying, like it's impressive that a corporation has never tried to milk that to the point of like the new hip younger version of Mario. He's Mario, but he's hot. It's his 18-year-old
Literally
son.
his new outfit in World. The
I guess.
Sunshine Sprite outfit.
Yeah, so you just like dress him up differently,
There, yeah. What do you want from them?
reskin the current guy. We don't need some new ones.
Mario
Yeah,
is
make-
somehow a 10-year-old and an adult.
And 50,
Right.
Person.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Which appeals to everybody.
He's kind of perfect that way.
Yeah. Or maybe honestly the answer is they did do that and it was in Yoshi's Island and it was just a younger version of him. But
And it was just Baby Mario, and he wouldn't shut the hell up.
we think of like
He
how
kinda
many
fumbled the bag.
Mario games there have
good.
been, right? And like how many sequels they've had to come up with ideas for. They've never gone for like Peach and Mario have a kid and they're disobeying the rules. Like they've never gone near that old trope, you know?
That would
They
have been
have to-
cool.
I don't know if they'll ever do that. They love the flirtation of do they even sleep together.
Right.
So if you give them a kid, then you just know it for sure.
Yeah.
They did some kind of surrogacy nonsense, but why are they doing that?
I don't consider that nonsense. Oh My Blob writes in, they say,
For
hey,
them! Don't try to cancel me.
Oh My Blob says, hello, MinnMaxers. Please settle a fierce debate for me. Am I a lazy gamer for turning on auto-accelerate in Mario Kart? I'd only be holding down A the entire time, or is that the point? Have I given in to our robot overlords?
You are lazy.
No,
I'm gonna be the contrary.
auto-accelerate's great.
No, you're lazy. Press the button. Whole point of this game is to
Hold,
press A.
hold the button that you never let go of.
Sometimes you let go of it for a crazy drift.
Do you?
No,
Yeah.
you
If
don't.
the real skill is
I
knowing
acceleration while drifting, I think.
Yes, but you could also let go in order to do a tighter drift.
You don't need to do that, Haley.
That's how you win.
No, it's not.
Haley's the
The
pro.
roads are like 20 lanes wide. There's plenty of space.
Let me guess, you have secure steering on too. Or whatever it's called.
Smart steering is an insult. Now you're just getting personal.
That's
Haley.
the line. The acceleration's okay, but smart steering is just obscene.
Smart acceleration is just like cruise control. You just press the button and it will keep going, and you can press the brake if you need to, which you never will need to, and it'll turn it off. It's fine. It's better than trying to hold that stupid button forever.
My hand was cramping up in Knockout Tour, for sure.
When the countdown happens, right, you press the button when the 2 appears to
Obviously.
get the boost.
Of course, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you just tap the button for that, Jeffem?
No,
I hold
I hold it down for the start, and then let
Okay.
go once you get the speed boost, which you get 100% of the time because we've all been doing it on the 2 count since forever.
count, yeah.
Don't check the archive of the stream to see how we reacted to that.
3, 2, 1, go. You get to do the second one of the 4.
That's right. Somebody supported us on Patreon, and their name is Guy Who Told Turtle Suit Dana Carvey about 9/11. So they write in and they say, hey, MinnMax, Leo, friend of yours, they say, time for the hit game show, BD Wong or BD Wrong. The panel will get a video game. You decide if the actor BD Wong has provided his voice to this video game.
Oh boy.
Is BD Wong Kyle Hilliard in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Okay. Yes.
Yes, he is in Mulan.
But I cheated. Because I just Googled him to look at his face to see who he was, and Mulan was there.
You monster.
So I cheated. I admit. Fully.
We all want to see BD Wong's face at all time, but we can't Google it if we're being quizzed on it.
You should have it as your wallpaper.
Like the rest of us Wong heads.
I would have gotten that. I wouldn't if I didn't have the Mulan connection from that recent Google. I wouldn't have gotten that. I think.
Jeffem, Disney Infinity. BD Wong.
Yeah.
Don't be a naive fool. Of course not. Leo, Lego Jurassic World. Was BD Wong in that?
Was that after they started doing the? Well, is that one where it's just clips from the movie, and then does that count? And if it does count, I'm gonna say yes.
Yes, he was in it. I think he was in it in and above clips from the movie.
Okay, he was like the main.
I think he's probably doing a lot of narration and stuff.
Cool.
Haley McLean, Jurassic World Evolution 3. Is BD Wong in that one?
Yeah.
This one's not out yet, right?
Correct. They say we don't know yet, but probably. All right, Jeff, last one. Redeem yourself.
I got the fake one.
Disney. I'm sorry, Haley. You get the real one. Disney Speedstorm, the game we cannot forget. That free-to-play Mario Kart S game. Is BD Wong in there?
That would be BD Wrong.
No, actually correct. He is in there. Assume as his Mulan character again. We all tried. That's fine. Mike,
Is
right.
Mulan?
Captain Li Shang. So Mike Lynch writes in, they say, hey, who's the best live host in gaming? Someone who is effortlessly comfortable on stage.
Elijah Wood introducing the Xbox 360.
He was the most comfortable. He was chill.
I think so.
He was chill. He seems like a chill guy.
I know it's not how nerves and anxiety work, but there should be some way to convey to everybody on stage that it's okay to relax. Wouldn't they all be better if they're just chill to the max?
Remember when Anthony Mackie at the Game Awards, people were just yelling stuff out at him, and every single one he was going like, "Whoa!" whoa. Everybody in the crowd.
What happened? That's so funny.
Hitting him like bullets. It was crazy.
I mean, is that answer
Like
then?
the words from Pauline and the banana.
right. So is that answered by proxy then Keanu Reeves? Because somebody volleyed something at him and he just gave the greatest judo flip of all time, saying you're breathtaking?
He made everybody in that room comfortable for sure.
Yeah.
Even if he was, I think because he was goofing off and he sounded a little silly reading in a city where crime is around.
Yeah. O'Bruni writes in, they say, with the release of Rematch, the best football game I've played in decades, it's out. Leo, are you going to be diving into Rematch a little bit more from the devs of Sifu?
Yes. Really excited. Haven't had time, but want to.
Sweet.
Another thing to take you away from Fantasy Eye.
Take it away. What sport do you think should get the Rematch treatment? O'Bruni asks.
Horseback riding.
From the Sifu devs in particular?
Yeah. Like really, really good, intricate, animated horseback riding where it's like movement could mess up the horse's movement a lot too.
What are the verbs? What are the buttons you'd be pressing that are more technical than games that you ride horses in let you currently?
Rein in.
But is there like kick? Squeeze its sides with your feet type stuff?
Yeah, squeeze or kick. Maybe you squeeze is a light press, kick is a hard press on the button. There we go.
And you want like gyros for like shifting your own buttocks weight on the horse to like optimize that?
Yeah. Because if you donk up like the takeoff on a jump, the horse will like mess up because your weight's getting thrown around like an idiot. So you could set him up for success, but if your gyro's off, the horse is going to go, and land wrong.
Right.
Is donk a horse riding term?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a Haley thing again, like Zeus.
Okay.
Which is an
I genuinely wasn't
right?
sure. I was like, oh, interesting. I was thinking hockey, actually, because it's so fast, right? Because isn't Rematch a little turn-based, or am I insane?
You're insane. It just has more specific control. That's the core of the question, is just kind of like more direct yet arcadey control over a sport.
Because you can have hockey, you can do like Sifu style fighting when you get in a fight.
Oh, that would be sweet.
That's what I was getting.
Environmental attacks.
Yeah. I was watching Jeff Gerstmann's stream Days of Thunder on NES the other day, which is like, NES game based on the Tom Cruise movie about NASCAR or whatever. But they had like this playable section in that game, and I was like, why haven't people done this more? Where it was just an interactive like pit stop. I was like, that should be a game. That's cool. Pressure, I want to try that. I don't know if it's VR or what, but the idea of like, okay, you got your routine down, a car's going to come in a minute, and you need to go as fast as you possibly can, go with the team, and like, done. Like, that is such a cool thing. Every time I see it visually, I want to play it in some way. And do you want to know why I like gamers? The like, Mom, I'm not at a checkpoint yet level of gamer is I was bowling with Joe Juba recently, dear friend of the show, and I was talking about like, why aren't there pit stop focus games? Where's my pit stop game? And he's like, what game you should check out is Days of Thunder on NES. Like, he just like had that on the top of his mind, and I was like, oh, that's exactly the reference I just watched today, Joe. That is a absurd pull.
Nice. Also, Pacific Drive, you're doing the pulling over, but you got to do it real fast sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's true. Pit stop energy for sure there. Donnie says, hey, I'm sorry about this one, but I need to get it out of my head. Cyberpunk 2077 on the Switch 2. Is this the first game on a Nintendo console with full frontal nudity?
There's so many of those.
There was Mario
when
he was swimming.
Mario swimming.
The anime girls get revealed.
What version of were you guys playing?
Did those really have nudity though? The Switch eShop hentai puzzle games?
They do.
They must.
Do. I think from what I could see, and this was again looking at a Reddit post summary, and it was like it doesn't seem full frontal. It was like a lot of topless stuff with the hentai eShop. So there is some good answers. There's a Reddit post that's summing this up, which had like, of course, there has been full frontal nudity on Nintendo systems for a while in a very specific place, in a first-party game. The paintings in Animal Crossing. The Museum of Animal Crossing technically has like full frontal nudity.
I'm so dumb. I just typed full frontal nudity on my browser.
Smart.
Without Nintendo after it. It's just Pornhub links.
You have to blur the reflection in Haley's glasses.
I'm not seeing any Nintendo in here, so I guess not.
Actually, I gotta hop off. I'm getting a call. I gotta hop off the podcast. Uh-oh.
Isn't it interesting that it's all cool in the paintings? But you couldn't have your Animal Crossing guy be naked?
Yeah.
But it's basically a painting. This is like a layer deeper. A painting at the museum in real life.
Instagram story with the guy's penis at the museum. You didn't think twice. That was just on our socials.
Right.
But it's walking free.
Yeah. But if I started it with Leo's penis, people have no problem with it.
We're done.
Exactly.
We're done.
It's so random.
Also, that Reddit thread pointed out, like, LA Noire, there's nude corpses. Witcher 3 is on Switch. Interesting poll. South Park Stick of Truth. There's a boss fight. Do you remember this one, Haley? Where there's a boss fight while your parents.
The doctor one?
No, while your parents are having sex.
Oh yeah, you're underneath the bed or whatever.
And it's like there's a quick time event of like testicles swinging at you. It's a really classy, smart game. Pork Bun Powered writes in and says, "Hey, I'm excited to try out the altars, but it reminded me that I had to mentally assess myself each time before I played Frostpunk. My question is, are you always down to play or watch something emotionally draining? Or do you have to do a headspace vibes check before diving in?"
It's not. Who is down for an emotionally draining thing anytime?
Yeah. Okay, good. I thought you were going to say the opposite. Like
I did.
what
The way you said,
needs
"Of course
to check?
not," I thought you were saying, "Like, of course not. I'm always ready for that."
Yeah. I need to check my gut and see if I can take it in that day. 100%.
I gotta be in the mood for sure.
Yeah.
But when are you in the mood for something sad like that? Like, it's so weird to be like, you don't wake up on a Tuesday and be like, today is the day I can absorb some sad stuff, right?
I think so.
To me, it's not always sad, though. It's like challenging. It's like a long new movie that I know is for smart people. And I think I am more often ready for that than I think I am. I think I default to unchallenging, simple game, simple TV show I know I love when I would be a little more fulfilled by something more challenging. It is always scary, even if I am in the mindset more than I give myself credit for.
It's almost more of a focus thing to me, right? It's like, do I want to give this my full attention? Am I in the mood to give anything my full attention? Or should I just, rewatch Community? Or something like that,
Yeah.
I don't know when else to bring this up because I keep forgetting. I'm not going to hold it off one more second. I've been watching Nirvana the band, the show, Ben, and it's amazing. It's one of the best shows ever.
Oh, good. Oh, that's awesome. And this is the series, not the web series, right? Because it's confusing because they both had like 2 seasons and stuff. Right. How far are you?
Almost done with season 2.
Okay.
It's crazy. I give so much credit to like Bad Trip for being like a movie filmed in public, and this is totally a sitcom filmed in public.
Yes.
Where do you watch this?
Hanson handed me a flash drive with it on it, which I give him so much credit for because it's been recommended to me over the years, but everybody recommends everything to everybody. But that was what put it in my head of like, I really got to watch
physical media,
they
baby.
Have a movie coming out soon, right? That like people are all like, it's been shown at some festivals and people are kind of losing their mind over.
Yeah,
right?
And I was just looking last night, and there's not like release plans for when that's coming out, but I think they still are planning for it 2025. But Leo, in particular, I think it's the second to last episode of season 2. It is just one of those episodes in a rehearsal style way, I guess. Just like, how did they do this? And there's a really good podcast that they did of like breaking it down. And I made Jacob Geller watch it with me in Brazil. Like, just look at this one episode. Like, the first half of this episode is just the best blending of like what is really happening here, because this is such a wild exchange. But it's excellent. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Like,
it's groundbreaking and just genuinely funny on a sitcom level. Like, lovable characters.
Yeah, awesome. For sure. So Travis and Fargo, they say, "Thank you, Leo, for talking about Nirvana the Band, the show. I'm flying out to beautiful Portland, Oregon this weekend for a 3-day trip. I pack light, so I'm just bringing a backpack." Cool. What's your philosophy when it comes to packing for a trip?
I really like being insanely well prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have packing cubes. And 1 cube's for pants, 1 cube's for shirts, 1's for underwear, 1's for underwear that were worn during the trip. And so I'm like just knowing everything I'm going to be doing and knowing where it goes in my bag. I already have like cute versions of like where I put my 100 milliliters of my shampoo. So it's not just a haphazard thing. I actually like the way they look. And it feels like I'm taking a little piece of home when I go on a trippy. Like, I need it to be like that. Otherwise I freak out.
What is a cube?
Like a packing cube. Have you ever used those? They actually end up making a ton of space. It's like, just like, think of those vacuum upper thing, you put under your bed and you put a bunch of things and you vacuum out the air, but like vacuum stuff. But like, it'll take like 4 pairs of pants that otherwise would take up half your bag. You can shove them in a packing cube and zip it up. It might be tough to zip it up, but it takes up like like 2/3
I'll be
less
damned.
space.
It's a bag within a bag. It's like simplified.
Weird.
Like it's
Yeah.
Like a, yeah.
Huh.
I love them.
Cool. I always roll my clothes up on the Jeff Cork tip.
Yeah.
And it makes them nice and small. It really gives me a lot more space. But I only ever bring a backpack. I haven't checked a bag in years.
Yeah, I am bare minimum. And also, like, one time my sister, I think it was when I started at Game Informer, she's like, oh, you're going to need a roly-poly bag for the airport. And it was a very nice gift. It was one of the rare Christmas gifts where I'm like, I'm going to return this because, I don't know, I'm committed to having a bag that I carry. Because I'm like, it's just easier to get in the overhead. I don't want to be locked out by having a hard,
And
suitcase.
do you check? You only there'll be some trips where it's more than a day and you're bringing a big bag that you check.
No, everything's always just in the one bag.
Even if you go to vacation?
Even if I go
week?
to vacation for a week. Yeah.
I know I said that weird.
Yeah, I mean, how many clothes could you possibly need? You bring one for each day, and it all fits in there. And yeah, I've never had a situation.
In your backpack?
Yeah, it's like a little duffel bag thing that's like flexible, so I can squeeze it in.
So like going out to dinner one night, another outfit for swimming at the beach, another outfit for if you go off the resort, your toiletries.
Go off the resort.
Just coming up with a vacation for you.
This vacation sounds amazing. No, I guess you bring a fanciest shirt. Maybe I'd have one extra shirt in there or anything, but I'm not changing wardrobe.
Yeah.
What am I, Princess Peach Showtime?
You didn't play that because you're not allies. So you don't know.
Damn it. Here's
That's fascinating. I wish I could be like that, but I need options.
You can do it.
No, I need options.
What about those people? I was always annoyed by those people who, and maybe they just don't want to be my friend, but I feel like it's a thing that would come up every once in a while. I'd be like, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? They're like, I got to pack for a trip tomorrow. That was always the worst excuse to me. I'm like, what are you talking? It takes 6 minutes. You put some socks in a bag. Like this idea of it being
God.
an all-day affair always freaked me out, and those people should be punished by law.
Oh my God, you're going to punish me then. That's how I prepare.
Well, it's ironic,
mentally.
but yeah, lawyers are going to jail today, folks. Lock it up.
Hanson, I was just making up that excuse every time.
People use it. And it sucks.
They might be trying to say, I want to stay home on my last night before this trip.
That's
and relax.
acceptable. That's acceptable. I appreciate that. But then they're lying to me.
I actually am
Right.
slowly packing with YouTube on and taking my time and making it a relaxing thing.
It's true. I don't know when it's going to happen. I could get it done early. I could do it the last thing before bed.
Okay.
I love
Gotta
having it
Hanson
all
has-
set up down there.
Hanson, have you not gone on any road trips with your kid?
Yeah.
Because it's a nightmare. That was what
Kids
I
are
was
different.
thinking in the concept. We haven't flown anywhere, but anytime we go on vacation, it is full trunk, full front passenger seat of just all the crap that kids need.
Yeah.
And then you still forget 3 things. That is a nightmare.
That they're gonna freak out about.
My trip for getting over anxiety for going or my not my trip, my life hack for getting over traveling anxiety is I keep a master list of a checklist of things to pack, and anything that I've ever forgotten just gets added, retroactively to the list.
Oh.
And so I just go through that, and I don't pack everything, but it's to get rid of that anxiety of what am I forgetting to pack?
Right,
And so
right.
it's 100 items long, but I at least know I won't
Jeff does
forget stuff
skincare.
when I go down the list.
100
Yeah.
item list.
Well, it encompasses work trips and vacations and anytime I ever had to go anywhere, it's everything just gets added to that
I like
big
that
dumb
tip.
list.
You miss traveling, Jeffem?
No, not really.
Because you just had,
I hate
from Game Informer
hate
to
airports
this.
and I hate flying.
airports.
Okay.
I'll go on something at some point for MinnMax when I'm not abandoning my wife with a baby, but
Okay, so 5 years from now?
sometime.
Okay,
I don't know.
all right.
But yeah, I hate airports and layovers and flying so much, and it just gets worse and worse, and
I love it.
that kills a lot of
You love the
traveling stuff for me.
airports?
I don't mind it. I like having a space where it's I'm limited in what I can do. It simplifies my life. All I can do is wait for a plane and play my Switch. That
I feel
type
very
of focus.
trapped.
Oh,
I feel very trapped
I
and
love being
enclosed.
trapped. Put me in a cage. I'm happy as can be.
Rattling the bars, me on the other end.
I'm with you. I look forward to getting to the airport, oddly.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
What do y'all like for question of the week? We've got Donkey Kong Jr. We've got what songs are going to stand the test of time.
I like that one.
Switch to launch
I
stuff.
like Test of Time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Over Switch to launch. That was another big diver. Nudity on Nintendo, obviously. Okay. We can go with Test of Time. That is Kevin Cooper. Congratulations. You just won the prize from I Am 8-Bit, which of course is the Gone Home vinyl. Speaking of soundtracks that'll stand the test of time.
They'll be playing in 30 years from now.
That's right. Now it's time for something that we call Get a Load of This. I think the Get a Load of This jingle is probably going to be around for another 70 years. Cartoon bank heist sting or whatever the hell it's called. Hey, get a load of this. Jeff can attest, and Kyle, I suppose, as well. But you read a lot of kind of boring books when you have a kid over and over and over again. And the other day, my kid had this book, and I was like, hey, this is fun. And it was like myths and legends of sports. And they just had a bunch of like fun little facts. And with the NFL, maybe I'm brainwashed and this isn't interesting as I thought, and maybe I'm just not enough of a sports head to be intrigued by like, oh, they have stats for that? But icing the kicker, you know, Jeffem, we're about to go for a field goal. Then it's like, timeout. These average percentage completion for a field goal is 81%. Icing the kicker with a timeout, getting in their head, making them think a little bit, that drops to 68%.
Wow.
Isn't that good? All just mental.
That's very noticeable.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, apparently in 1943, they were short on players, and the Steelers and the Eagles combined to form one team called the Steagles.
The Steagles.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Not the Eaglers.
A good last name for a fictional character.
Well, they fought the Eaglers. They went up with them at the Super Bowl, and it did not end well. It was a confusing thing. They had the same costume and jersey. It's called a jersey, not a costume.
It's a jersey, not a costume.
Oh, calling it a costume is a great way to knock it like a football jock down a couple.
That's
absolutely.
such a cute costume.
Nice cosplay.
Oh.
Hey, get a load of this. You guys know that VR game Maestro, where you you orchestrate?
Hell yeah.
Were you the maestro?
Conduct.
They added a bunch of like songs as DLC that I was like really impressed by. They have a Duel of the Fates from Star Wars.
What?
Yeah, and they have and then they
That's a good Maestro song.
Fantasia. They have the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia.
Oh, what?
That is the orchestra song.
In the Hall of the Mountain King.
Banger.
There's like a bunch of good stuff, but like obviously they're like the trailer like leads with Star Wars, but I was like, this is like good stuff. They have Game of Thrones theme in there.
Wow.
And
Baby Shark?
Like not your typical like add-on music for rhythm games. You know? So I just thought that was really cool.
That was nice.
3 Blind Mice or something.
I love it. Hey, get a load of this. This is an IGN article about Hideo Kojima insisted on making changes to Death Stranding 2 because playtesters thought it was too good.
Yeah.
I've heard, this is crazy.
Hey, Jeff, can you change that to a Game Informer YouTube link, please? Because we also got that quote from him.
Yeah, Marcus asked him that live. It was great.
That's
well,
great.
they asked him about that question.
But he still had the balls to look him in the eyes.
Okay. That is true.
Yeah, but he took the what is it? Sound producer? Johan Woodkid Lemoyne, who's working on the game's soundtrack. And he told the story that apparently Kojima came in and said they had a big problem, and he took him aside and he said, I'm going to be very honest. We have been testing the game with players, and the results are too good. They like it too much. That means something is wrong. We have to change something. And then he says that they changed a bunch of stuff to make it polarizing.
It's the best PR ever.
And meanwhile, Remedy's over there going, oh, yeah, we did that too.
Well, check the calendars at Thanksgiving? My God.
I don't get any credit for it, though.
Right.
Get a load of this. My partner got me, my favorite album of all time is Discovery by Daft Punk. My favorite song is Digital Love by Daft Punk. He got me this vinyl where it's like the Interstellar 5555 characters and you flip it around. It took me a long time to open it because I just, but I finally was like, I'm going to play my vinyl. And I opened it and I realized that Daft Punk has this super cool thing where if you bought this vinyl, you get embedded into the Daft Punk club. Don't look at my number. Someone's going to steal my freaking club number. You get admitted to the Daft Punk club number. I now keep this in my wall just because I think it looks rad. and it got me access to this like special unique merch website with like unique merch on it. And it's like, well, they're doing this in 2025. They haven't released an album in how many years now? It's like,
they also broke up like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I just love that. There was one. Oh God, what'd you say? They killed each other?
Yeah, when they announced that they were breaking up, they had a video where they like walked away from each other in the desert and like blew up.
I thought you were like making a joke that I missed the news that they're dead or something. I was like,
no,
that's a real get a load of this.
That would be my insane get a load of this. The expiry's 5555. That's cute. But now I just have it in my wallet. It's fun. There's an absolutely the best hoodie I've ever seen in my life is on that website, but it's sold out. And I check all the time, and it's always sold out.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Haley, I love that movie, Interstellar 555. It was like I snuck it into my daughter's rotation of films to watch when she was growing up. But I've only been able to find it like on DVD. And when they were doing all this stuff for Discovery, they showed the film in theaters again for like a night, which I wasn't able to go to. But but they haven't released it on like Blu-ray or anything. Is it on that secret website? Can I buy a Blu-ray?
It is not. They don't have any. It's just all clothing. And there's like a Christmas tree ornament or something. It's like that kind of stuff.
Get a load of this. Teachers Are Not Okay is an article by Jason Keebler at 404 Media that is really interesting. It is his most responded to article ever as far as people writing him with their points of view. And it's teachers talking about AI in classrooms, ChatGPT, and how it factors into assignments and stuff, which is like obviously such a huge thing that's going on in schools right now that few of us have a window into. Actually, probably most of us do, since most of us have kids of this group, but I didn't have a window into. And it's just personal testimonies, really interesting stories. I want to specifically shout out the one in the middle by Nathan Schmidt, who's a university lecturer, who's basically, his point is that basically the very end of it is, so that's the long story about how I adopted an absolute tolerance policy on any use of ChatGPT or any similar, working my way down the funnel of progressive acceptance to outright conservative Luddite rejection. It's all about the little ways that it creeps in if you let it in at all.
Yeah.
Was interesting to me because I was thinking about it recently with Cache Cleaner Simulator.
Yeah.
Which Steam games have a disclosure at the bottom of what AI was used for this, and that says like we used it for the avatars for the characters on the phone that you're talking to in that game. And as I play that game, it's clear those are AI. Like, I knew that before I read that they're by AI. And the text messages you're getting, I'm going like, these feel like they're written by AI too. Like, there's not that much personality in these that couldn't totally be ChatGPT. And they would never, they wouldn't have to disclose that. They wouldn't be caught if they didn't disclose that. And I was thinking about that as like, wow, what an interesting thing to say. We used AI for this thing, and now I'm poisoned looking at everything going, was this AI too?
Right.
The way it poisons the well. So it's interesting to have a lot of teachers' perspectives on, can we have a little bit of AI as a treat because it is so convenient, but maybe it is just not a path to go down.
Yeah. I gotta say, Leo, on the topic of not using AI, your thumbnails for the new Show Plus options every week make me laugh. It is so crude and bad and human, just having this blurry picture of Mia's auction powers in every single thumbnail. It's so stupid. Always
Tell
funny.
me when that gets old for you, the auction powers thing.
It's not. I haven't hit it yet.
Totally. I wanted to circle back to it for that reason, because that was when we talked about it as something I had used for 2 thumbnails in the past. It was like, from that perspective, like, it's so integrated and everything. Use it a little bit as a treat for a cute little joke. But then thinking about it, like, yeah, I can understand why other people would see it, and it's like, now it could be anything.
Yeah.
Anything in here could be AI, and now that's distracting from the art and the humanity of it.
Yeah.
And it has been, once I've got the clear go-ahead of like, yeah, we like it when it's stupid, I make them as stupid as possible, and it's fun.
Yeah. And look, I shouldn't have even accepted that Song from the Weekend might be the most popular song of all time, because that was letting AI in a little bit into this podcast, and God forbid. I've done it.
You've been reading up AI this whole time.
I still never used it, other than that AI overview nonsense. Hazard, the Disney Channel star, in the Discord, shared a link from Dead by Daylight, Haley, that they posted that they just broke their concurrent player record with 106,000 players. And they're like, coming up on our 9th anniversary. We have more coming up in the future, but 9 years in, and they're breaking their concurrent player record, and it's because of the Five Nights at Freddy's
Five Nights at Freddy's
crossover.
Springtrap's in it.
whoa.
Yeah.
That is...
They did, and he's cool. It's not just like they're ringing it in. They're like, here he is, and he just runs around and hits you with a knife. They have this cool thing where it's like all these doors, like the Five Nights at Freddy's pizzeria doors spawn around the map. And then the survivors can open the door and use it to teleport somewhere else, but so can Springtrap. And if Springtrap is going through it while you're in there, it has this great cutscene of like getting caught in the security room. And then he'll grab you and come out of the next door, like already with you on the shoulder to hook you. So it's like a really big punishment. So it's like the whole time you're in there, it's like it takes about 10 seconds to teleport and your character's like creeping and you're like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't come in here. And it's literally like playing Five Nights at Freddy's for 5 seconds when you're playing Dead by Daylight. They've tried really hard. It's great.
That's cool.
Is it a cutscene to walk through it, or do you play walking through it?
No, you just like your character's just like this, and then if he happens to also use the same item, this like thing interrupts it, and he's like, ah, and it does the Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare. So you're like, ah, and then he grabs you and puts you on a hook.
That's sweet.
Cool.
Well, there we go. That's it for this episode of the MinnMax Show podcast. Apologize for it being a long one, but thanks so much everybody for watching, listening, sharing, all that fun stuff. On MinnMax's YouTube channel and beyond, we got a bunch of fun stuff, including Bonus Pod, the Patreon exclusive podcast. Unlock it every week. It's very good. Haley is rocking it. So appreciate everybody unlocking that and all the kind words sent on Patreon about it. Pew Pew Bang. New episode is coming up on Monday, and this is the final episode of the season. For season 1, there's going to be a short break, I think is the official wording, and then season 2 will kick off. But Haley, do you have a tease for the final episode?
Oh, it's so fun. You'll see. It's not just a normal episode. We have something fun playing with a guest.
Yeah. I heard what it was, and I was like, I never thought this would happen on Pew Pew Bang, but that sounds fantastic. Yeah. I can't wait to listen to it.
It's already being like pre-planned all this week, so it'll be fun to record.
And don't forget to play that clip that I sent you a long time ago.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I will play it.
Okay. Also, up on MinnMax's YouTube channel, we have Doc Lightning, our film festival. If you remember on this podcast, a little over a month ago, we challenged everybody in the community to create a documentary under 3 minutes. They didn't need any experience. They could use their phone, do whatever they want, come up with something to document in a short documentary format. And we just held the film festival, and it's up on YouTube right now if you want to check it out. But it is humbling and unbelievable. Like 39 courageous people went out of their comfort zone, made a short documentary, and then just seeing those topics back to back, always so unexpected and always so good. So yeah, really, there were laughs, there were tears, there's everything. So check out that Doc Lightning video on MinnMax's YouTube channel. We also have the Summer Game Fest travelogue. If you want to experience all of Summer Game Fest with Kelsey and Jacob and Janet, boy, do we have the video for you. So it's a fun time. It's like technically the first time that Janet has met Jacob, and just like getting to edit the 3 of those folks together when it's like the first time a lot of them are in the same room together. It's really a fun dynamic to cut together. And so
they're
that's
also
fun.
cute together.
Yeah. It was fun having Janet and Kelsey beefing about baseball teams.
Right.
In that, or at least the extended version. That's a rare type of conversation for the group.
Yeah, for sure. And so, in the extended version, if you're at the $10 tier, you unlock the 6-hour version. It's a little over 6 hours long, and it's
crazy.
Better well shot than any extended version I've ever done. It all looks great and sounds great, so I hope you all enjoy that. And also, a reminder, if you don't want to mess with Patreon, which we like Patreon, but if you don't want to mess with it, you can get a YouTube membership. And if you want to jump in at $10 on YouTube, you can get a MinnMax membership on YouTube, and you can get all the extended versions of all of our content as well. The SGF travelogue's up there, Brazil's travelogue's up there. That's all up in the community post tab on YouTube. If you want to become a member there, we appreciate it.
And we're starting to put bonus pod video versions there as well.
Yeah.
That's something that makes sense.
Why not? So it's never been a better time to jump in on that YouTube membership if you want to check that out. But thanks everybody for watching and sharing that SGF travelogue. We appreciate it. And new episode of Max Settings for Firebreak is also up as well. Thanks to NVIDIA for making that whole thing happen. But that is it for this episode of the podcast. Greatly appreciate it. We'll be back next week for our 300th episode of the MinnMax Show.
Wow.
It's going to be fun. Thanks so much, everybody. Be good. Have fun. Let's go.